Welcome to the GRG podcast, the place for all your gaming news, plus hot topics of the week. Also remember to follow us on Twitter at KMEGA4.
What's up, everybody? The GRG podcast is live in full effect. I hope the mic is going to be working because I'm using a different mic, the bad mic. I guarantee you. But hold on, wait a minute. I'm being still. I'm not going to do any kind of crazy movement except for when I go and grab the adult beverage. But other than that, we're going to have a great show, man. Tonight, man, we have some special guests. We have a first-time guest on GRG. And then, of course, we have a returning person, actually, one of the new members of the new podcast that I'm going to be bringing out. I know I've been talking about it, but you know what? Just think of me as just right now on my 108 Dragons Prometheus vibe right now. And talking about the podcast is going to be coming up. You know, when he was talking about the Dragon's Den, I'm like, man, what is it? The Lion's Den, Puff the Magic Dragon's Den? Is it the Zeus Den? When is this podcast coming out? And so eventually it came out. So just give it time, but it's coming. But man, one of the members, we already know D. We talked about Mitchie. But then the other member right here, man, Calirex. What's happening with you, Cali?
What is up, people? Yeah, this is a big return for me. I haven't done my own show for quite a while. I've just been taking a break. And yeah, I figured, I might as well go onto your show since you invited me, Mega. So yeah, thanks for inviting me, man. It's truly an honor to be back to podcasting again.
Yeah, I know that you've been trying to restructure your podcast and all that, and you've been showing your designs and things like that. A lot of us have just been telling you, hey man, just go hit up Graphic God, man. He could, he could go ahead and get that stuff done lickety split. But I understand, I get into that mode too, where people tell me, hey man, go hit this person up if you got a technical issue or something like that. I just kind of want to learn those things myself. So therefore, when things go bad, I don't have to go to that person. Or I'm stuck because I've been in that position before, so I totally get it. But still, Graphic God is your man. You need to go ahead and go check him out if you get into that situation. To go,
everybody tells me that.
Man, hit up.
You know what the problem is for me? I'm an artist. So I like to do stuff myself.
Yeah,
that's my problem.
Yeah, no problem with that. No problem with that at all. I totally get that. But I'm glad for you to be back, brother, man. And can't wait to hear your thoughts on some of these topics we got tonight. And then for our first time guest. You know what I'm saying? I talk to this man every once in a while in the on the chats, on Xbox, things like that. But this is his first time being on GRG, man. It is an honor. Welcome another Iron Lord to the podcast, man. Addict, what's happening with you, brother?
I'm pretty good, man. I appreciate the invite. Normally, like these Fridays and Thursdays, people they'll ask me to come on podcasts. I'm like that. That's out of my that's the work day. I'm doing this at work, so we'll see how this goes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what this is that this man is in a bunker somewhere. He's at either Sony, Microsoft, or a Nintendo, and he's listening to the leaks and stuff, so he can feed that back to King David and Incognito and Sovereign. That's what's going on right here. This is the inside man right here. He's in the trenches right now. When he says he's at work.
Fake news, not Nintendo. Fake news.
What's happening, my boy? Xbox448. What's going on with you, fam? Thank you guys for coming. Do not forget to share this out. Also, I did post something here, man. Because I hear my boy Rain. He says he wants a red GRG shirt. Hey, if you could go up here and check up the pin up there where you see the GRG gear, man, the more that you guys support it, the more that I can get more designs. So if you could go ahead and do that, man, it would greatly be appreciated. On top of that, man, we need to get some of that GRG gear out there. We know a couple of people been out there doing it and got some, but hey, it would be good if we could see some representation out there for some GRG gear for sure. All right, but man, let's get on to it, man. We don't have everybody here tonight, so which is good. That was one of the reasons why I asked for 2 guests tonight. But hey, let's get to it. Let's get to the crew. First off, going to the lady of Friday nights, as I call her. I was going to say the lady of the night, which that was going to be a whole other discussion. A whole other discussion. So let's change that. The lady of podcasting on Friday nights. D, what's happening? No. That's what I had to back up. We had to change it up.
You spicy already.
Already.
It's called a verbal gaff.
Oh, anyway, what's up with you, D? How you doing?
Nothing much. I'm glad to be here. Just got off work. Been playing some stuff this week. Got back into the division, so it's been nice to retouch old stuff, quote unquote old stuff. So I'm just chilling.
Nice. And thank you so much for the follow, Craven Raisin. Hey man, that's a dope ass name. The way he got it spelled, it's KRAV with a 3 N in Raisin. That's pretty dope, man. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that on Twitch. I'm also on Twitch as well. We do this I was going to say something else. Boy, I haven't even started drinking yet, so I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to say, hey, thank you so much. Appreciate it. So let's get on to it. Six layer. What's happening with you, brother?
Yeah, bro, just got paid Friday night. Yo, I'm just keeping it moving. Yo, just got paid Friday night, man. I left work early. Went me to my barbecue. I'm recovering from the itis. I had the single best jerk chicken I've ever had in my entire goddamn life for 41 years. And I've had jerk chicken in a lot of places, Oh my God. But anyway.
Be like that.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm feeling good. So yeah, we're going to hit some topics, bro.
Nice.
Sounds fun to me.
Pred, I don't know why I sound like I'm in the toilet. Everybody was saying that I sounded fine. So, you know what I'm saying? To each one, listen, it's hashtag save the mic, KMEGA's mic. And so therefore, you know what? The mic I'm going to go look for this mic or for the settings and everything for it next week. Because if you content creator, you usually get a little bit of that change, on around 24th or whatever. But I'm going to see if I can try to do it next week so I can have a better quality mic. Because everybody else sounds salty. I mean, not sound salty, but they sound good, and I'm the one that sounds salty. So therefore, I will definitely do that. So, friendly neighborhood.
Are you sure you good tonight? Because you were saying every wrong word and every saying.
What
you mean is that everyone sounds crispy.
Yeah, I said everybody sounds salty. I said I would sound a little salty.
You said so, bro. I'm saying you all over the place.
I am all over the place. But
right.
let me hit
Right.
friendly neighborhood blue shell. I'll be all right. I'll get it together. You know how I do it.
Don't drink down.
Yeah. Friendly, he says disappointed the podcast. While no life in Cold Steel 4, 150 hours in, and just now getting close to the end game. My man, that's what I'm talking about, man. If you ain't putting in no, yeah. Oh, and then
you also step on your mic.
Yeah, and friendly neighborhood Michelle. He says for KMEGA's mic, hey man, I will fix it. I will fix it. I promise to God I will. Anyway, so that's a damn shame when somebody is in the bunker over here getting information at work on their cell phone. It's going to sound better than me on my mic. I do apologize about that. But anyway, let's go ahead and get to my big man, Steel Rain. What's happening with you, fam?
I am him, the one and only Steel Rain. Look, man, KMEGA, we back in the GRG Kingdom on a Friday night, giving it to y'all live, raw, and uncut like we do. And anyway, man, look, we got some fire topics tonight. We got a Lord in the house, brother. And we got Calirex. Look, we must be doing something right because we got some idols in here tonight, baby. Anyway, let's get to these topics. Let's have some fun tonight, y'all. Let's go.
Let's go. All right, and Slayer, I did hit you up, but did I interrupt you?
Interrupt me?
Oh, did I interrupt you in the introduction?
No.
Oh, okay, all right, cool. All right, Dirk Griggity, he says, what's poppin', y'all? E3 is the month away. I'm super hyped. It's Xbox time to shine. Absolutely, man. Can't wait to be on your show Monday, brother. It's gonna be fun. I can't wait. It's gonna be really good, man. So go check out my boy Dirk Griggity and his crew over there. Man, they're doing big things over there for sure. So let's get to the very first topic. And for you, this is what we're going to get into. Talk about Xbox 20. And so first, I'm going to go to the guest. I'm going to go to you, Addict, first.
I like how you didn't even finish doing everyone's intro. At least I got skipped.
Oh yeah, you interrupted me by being rude. So yeah, never mind.
Oh yeah, it's all right. I get it. I'll just take extra long at the outro. Let's go.
Okay. All right. So, but anyway, Bloody Knuckles, what you been doing? What you been up to?
Well, you know me. I'm always on my thing, get my game on, showing my Sega love and everything that I be doing. You know, just entertaining the people, here representing the masses. You know how it is.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. All right, let me go to Addict on this. Okay, so the Xbox 20th anniversary popped up, and it was, a lot of people gave information. So what I want to know from you guys, and I'm going to start with you, Addict, first. What was it that got you to gravitate to the Xbox? Not saying because I know you play everything as well, but what got you started on Xbox? Were you very, Xbox OG, or was you 360 or later on? Where did you start your Xbox journey?
I played the first time I played an Xbox was at my friend Nathan's house. Actually, we played Halo, but I didn't own one. But what made me go out and buy an Xbox is when I saw Fable, and that's what made me buy an Xbox was Fable. And what's funny is I played the original Fable, and then I didn't get a 360 till Fable 2 dropped. So that's pretty much what happened there. That's why I was one of the people that was like really upset when they announced Fable Legends, because I looked at it and I was like, this is not a Fable. Like this is gonna flop, and then the Fable brand's gonna go away. Like I was not feeling that. So that's the first time I played. And I always played. I dabbled in Xbox. I did the Link connections, played on played on Gulch, but like I didn't actually get an Xbox until I really saw Fable, because at that time I was going to my friend's house every day. Like I was getting my fix of Halo. I didn't really need an Xbox just to play
Halo. All right. So it was Fable was the first game that got you started, and so now that's the question I don't know, because I know that you play a little bit of everything, but are you primarily an Xbox gamer or are you?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I played.
All right, excellent. All right, so let's go ahead and get to our next guest. Callie, what about you, man? It's the 20th anniversary, man. What games got you started on an Xbox, playing on an Xbox?
Well, I never really owned an Xbox myself. It was more so my cousins that had Xboxes. Mm-hmm. So I did play Halo with them because, hey, it's where they had the games that I didn't have. So that's where I usually went to when I went to go visit my cousins. I played on their Xbox to just play a few rounds of Halo with them. It was always fun to just play Halo on there too. And of course they had other games like racing games, sports games that I also took part in. And we kind of held our own mini competitions too.
Nice. All right. So far it's been a theme. Like, I mean, well, it was Halo was kind of got everybody started so far, and then it seems like there was those other games. Was there any other games that caught your attention on Xbox after you played Halo?
Not personally, because to be honest, I didn't really follow much of gaming. I only knew about Halo because that's what a lot of people had.
Okay.
That's basically all I knew about, really.
All right, and you are primarily a PlayStation, or I know you play a lot more on PC here lately, but I mean, you're primarily a PlayStation guy, right?
Yep.
For people out there who didn't know. So, all right, no, why'd you say it? Why'd you do it? You said that like you were sad. I said, yeah, come on, man. Say that.
Okay, I mean, I'm not primarily a console gamer anymore. I moved on to PC.
Yeah,
really.
I've been knowing you've been playing a lot of PC.
Not a thing,
so.
it just is. Just like,
Yeah,
that's what it is. That's all.
That's all. It is what it is. All right, so let's keep it moving. All right, so Bloody. What about you, man? Where did you get your start from on the playing on the Xbox?
So for me, kind of talk about my history with Xbox is that I actually played on the OG Xbox, but I didn't have one myself. It was actually one of my friends. He would actually come over a lot, and the game that really kind of drew me in was Fable, as well as KOTOR. I'm a big Star Wars fan. And when I played KOTOR for the first time and just how deep it was as a turn-based RPG, I was just enthralled with that game. So whenever he would come in, every time he would come in, he had a separate. I ended up just buying a memory card, but I would have my own memory card that I would use to play whenever he came over and stuff like that. So that way I had my own file. But I didn't get an Xbox myself until the 360. Era when I bought my first Xbox because of my roommates. We all met in high school, and I was looking at getting an Xbox or PlayStation 3 and didn't know what to go. And he told me that everyone had a 360 and to get that in Gears. So I ended up playing through the Gears games with them, which was my first time kind of playing online. And because of that, I've just been kind of involved in the ecosystem, but Gears was really one of the games that just absolutely blew me away when it came to Xbox, besides obviously just my deep love of the Fable series.
Nice. All right. Okay. All right. What about you, D? What got you started on the Xbox?
I guess I'm going to be the kind of the breaker of tradition here so far. What got me into the Xbox was I played the original Xbox when I was in high school. It wasn't mine though, and it had Grand Theft 3 on it. And I was really excited because I hadn't played it in a couple of years. And then when I got older, I was desperate, and that is the correct word. I was desperate to play Grand Theft 4 because back then those graphics were ridiculous. So I had a PS2. And I was a college student, and it was either pay $400 for a used PS3 or getting a 360. So I really only got the Xbox because it was the cheaper option. I hadn't played Halo, never heard of Halo, played it, Forza, none of that at that point. It was honestly just the price point, and I still get both consoles, but ever since then, I kind of get my Xbox first because everything just started there as far as like modern gaming is concerned. But it honestly started because of price difference, and I just kind of kept going from there. So I know I'll get a PS5 eventually, but
I don't
every generation.
I don't think people realize how many people get something from a price standpoint and how
it
doesn't like the world, we have different cultures. Japan, their society is different than our society, et cetera, et cetera. But if there's anything anywhere around the world that's always 100% universal, it's I can save money doing this. Like, I don't think people realize how big saving money is. Like, and it's not just a United States thing. Like, it's an everywhere. Like, people always go better savings.
Hey, everyone's always looking for a deal. That's what it is. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's what Steam gets me with their sales. I just wait.
I didn't have friends that played, so it wasn't like, my friends are on PlayStation. I didn't have friends that, like, I was black chicks. Like, there wasn't a lot of people that I knew that played video games. So it really was. I didn't have Xbox Live until 2012, 2013. So I was 100% offline. So there wasn't even like a subscription you had to buy. It was just like, oh, 169 used. I'll get that. There's a one in front of the price.
Yeah, no,
And
that's
that was just it.
that is crazy, and Addict is absolutely right. I mean, everybody. That's what kind of got me started too was Halo, and then eventually I went and got a OG Xbox on sale. There was somebody who was selling it. They sold it real cheap, and so I went and I got it. And then when the 360 came, that was the biggest choice. Like, do I want to pay $600 for a PlayStation, or do I want to pay this $300 for a 360? And at that time, I was still on the fence because I was a hardcore PlayStation guy at the time. But I knew that when I heard that there was going to make another Halo, I was sold at that point, and then the price point was also the big factor, and I just went ahead and got the 360, and then I never looked back from when Xbox being my primary. But okay, let's go to you, Still Rain. Okay, how did you get started? What was the first game, or when did you first purchase a Xbox?
The first game that got me into Xbox was Halo Combat Evolved, 2001, coming fresh off of Rainbow Six Rogue Spear. I was heavily involved in that on PC. Probably shouldn't have been playing it at the time. If you think back, that was in 99. I was born in 92. You know what I'm saying? So I was already multiplayer gaming at that point.
This boy 2 years older than my son.
So I was already multiplayer gaming at that point. That's why when I tell people, man, I'm in a multiplayer eccentric gamer. That's what I've been doing. And that's a PC game, right? But I went from playing that, and my pops brought home the OG Xbox one day, and he actually tried to hide it, try to keep me out the room or whatever. He was like, no, don't go back here just yet. And I ended up getting around him or whatever, and I saw it, and he had Halo on the screen, man. I cannot tell you the amount of time or the experience playing Halo for the first time with my pops and just thinking like, bro, this is defined a whole new definition for gaming for me. The way that Halo felt was so organic, and there wasn't anything else like it at that time, especially for like first-person shooters. I mean, again, you coming off of a game like Rainbow, that's kind of a game, a genre that defined the kind of the first-person shooter initially, and then Halo just took it to that next level. So that would be my reason for having the Xbox. My first Xbox that I personally bought was a 360. And mainly that was because I was already invested in the ecosystem. My pops also had, I believe, because he bought the 360 first when it first came out. And again, I don't know how he does this, but miraculously, he came home one day and he had Gears and was trying to, shoot me away. And we ended up sitting down because I had co-op, full co-op, just like Halo, you already know. So he was like, hey, just come sit down and play this. And man, Gears, Halo did one thing, but Gears, bro, in the year 2006, 2007, after Halo had been out for for that 5-year span at that point, and really kind of taking over the scene, and then a game like Gears to completely redefine what Unreal was doing and bringing it to a third-person shooter where you can like fluidly move off the wall. The everything about it was crazy. It was dark. And then you had a chainsaw gun, like, bro, which is now everybody knows it's the Lancer. You know what I'm saying? It's like another game that just defined the genre for me. And so with that, man, I got so heavily invested in the Gears. I mean, I played Gears competitively for a long time. I had to get a 360. You know what I mean? Like when I got enough money, I ended up getting my own job or whatever the case. It just moved on and I've been involved in the ecosystem ever since, man. So that's me.
Nice. All right. Slayer, I will not. I see that super chat. Wow, thank you so much, Stone X. I'll definitely get to that, but I want to hear what Six Slayer has to say and what got him started on the Xbox and what game too as well.
Yeah, well, my story is a common story, man. Day one, Halo Combat Evolved. My God, that Dolby Digital 5.1 surround sound that actually mattered. The controls. Like new controls for first-person shooters with the dual analogs and a limit of 2 weapons. That was a tactical change that you see that's reverberated in games ever since. Like Halo is mother's milk to a lot of people, really.
Thanks.
And the Xbox platform
Great point.
evolved for me to be the console platform of choice. Not the only console I would ever have in a given generation, but my preferred one, the default platform where I would get exclusives and whatever multiplats. Usually 9 times out of 10 is superior on Xbox, and it has been since the platform, first came about in 2001. Not always, but generally, mostly not last gen is the majority of that exception. But yeah, just a platform, that I like to represent, but not only, as I say, but yeah, Xbox is just where it's been for me for the past 20 years. I can't believe it's really been that long. It really does feel like yesterday.
It does. It really does. That's one thing that I definitely that trips me out as well. All right, but let me go ahead and get to this super chat, man, because that's that's a different color. That's crazy. Though when you see the orange, that's big. But when you see this, this is like mahogany. What is that? Purple? What is that? What is that? Man, Stone King X, he says, "What's up, panel in chat? Can't wait to see what is in store for Xbox for the 20th anniversary. Keep up the great work, GRG. Keep it gaming. Always, brother, man. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. And Sir X-Man, he says, 17 years on Xbox Live because my PS2 online sucks. Oh, my goodness. See, why'd you have to come with the slander? Well, you know what I'm saying?
Talking spicy, talking greasy.
I know, already coming with that slander. But I will say this. I did, and I talked about this. I don't know if I talked about this on the show or I talked about it on next podcast. But I was always one of those people that like to jump on stuff kind of early. And the internet out here in Oklahoma, even in the city, was not anywhere comparable. And I was trying to play online Madden and college football games, soccer and all that on the PS2. It just didn't work very well. And so then I tried to do it again on the Dreamcast. I would get some NBA 2K games in, things like that, but it still just didn't feel right because, we had to catch up on our internet speeds. And so then eventually by the time that I did get a 360, I was tuned out because because on PlayStation I had it hooked up and still wasn't the greatest when I did give me a PlayStation 3. And so I stayed away, and that's why I was so late to jumping on the online gaming aspect of it because I had all those bad experience prior. And so I was just hoping for a week and get, and so AT&T finally had some they got to 56K. And so I'm like, okay, all right, cool. Let me try that. And so things started playing a little bit better. And then I started talking to more people and they started having stuff that was way more advanced. And so when eventually it started catching up, that's when I started playing online more. But for me, man, yeah, I got the Xbox for cheap. And about a year and a half later, the 360 came. So I was really late into the OG Xbox lifespan. And when I was playing Halo and doing those LAN parties and stuff, it was, it was already, it was already huge and a big success. So I was definitely late to the party. But man, I can't say, man, Halo seems to be that game to gravitate everybody to that console. It's crazy how big Halo is. So anybody else got anything they got to say about this before we move on?
No.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So let's talk about Starfield for a second. Now I've definitely been the person that hasn't. It looks good. Well, I can't really say it looks good. We don't know that much about it. The one thing that gives me the point a pause for a second is the fact that Sony wanted the game to be a timed exclusive. And normally, if Sony's going to try to spend money on something to be a time exclusive, obviously the game has a lot of appeal or it's going to bring a lot of interest. But from everything that I've heard about the game, it seems like it's going to be all right. I don't know if it's going to be the type of game that I'm going to be heavily into. And my point is because there's been some more information came out that the game is not going to be like an Outer Worlds or Mass Effect, that type of big galaxy type of game like that, where it's got a deep story or adventure. It's going to have adventure, but it's going to be a different type. And so it's going to be more like the Outer Wilds. And I've never played the Outer Wilds. I know that game got a lot of praise. It was an indie game that came out a couple of years ago. So I just want to I'm going to go to you on this one, Callie. What do you think about that? Does that game does Starfield give you some more interest because if you have played Outer Wilds, or is it something that puts you on pause like it does for me? Because look, I'm thinking of Outer Wilds. I'm thinking about the other game that was on PlayStation first, and it's out now. What is that game where you do all the exploration and all of that? What is that?
Minecraft?
No. You do the exploration in space. It came on PlayStation first.
You mean
No Man's Sky?
No Man's Sky, yeah. It's supposed to be somewhere being like No Man's Sky and Outer Wilds. So what does that get you excited, or does that put you in a position of saying, I don't know about this game yet?
You know what? I was on the fence until you mentioned that it was closer to the Outer Wilds, because I'm actually kind of a bit of a fan of that kind of style. I'm a big fan of No Man's Sky. I recently got it like 2 years ago, and man, I actually really enjoyed it. And hearing that, I'm actually kind of interested. Before, I didn't really have any interest, and to be honest, with Bethesda's reputation, especially with Fallout recently, I don't really have much hopes to be hyped for their games, besides the ones made by the developers they owned, like id or, of course, Arcane. So I didn't really know how to feel about this, especially because there wasn't any gameplay for this game. All we had was like a title card. But if it's gonna be like that with like Fallout style role playing mechanics, I'm down to try it out.
Okay. All right. What about you, Addict? Is this something that'll be up your alley, or is it just something that you need to see more? You got to be like me. You need to see more of this game instead of just talking it up as hype, and we don't know really that much about it.
Well, we don't know much about it, but to me, I believe, I'm kind of on the other side that Cal was on. It's because it's like, I feel like regardless, look, did 76 come out and it kind of hurt the Bethesda brand a little bit, but every developer I feel is entitled to that one game that's like, why'd you do that? Especially developers that have earned the right to have that one game that's like, why'd you do that? It's like just because 76, and by the way, 76 was not made by the studio that's making Starfield. It was made by Austin. It's just like, look, like, we can't ignore Oblivion. We can't ignore Fallout 3. We can't ignore Fallout 4. We can't ignore Skyrim. We can't ignore Morrowind. All because 76 flopped. And it flopped, but like, they recovered. Like, we can't act like they didn't recover. It's just like, all because this game came out, which wasn't even made by the studio that's making Starfield. We can't act like the rest of their games have not been neither Game of the Year contenders, where they barely lost because another huge RPG came out that year, or they won Game of the Year.
Very true.
I just do want to say the one thing about Fallout 4. I mean, I'm a fan of it, but I have heard from a lot of hardcore Fallout fans that they were split on Fallout 4. So
I thought the game was good. I just got caught up doing more building in the city than actually going out there and doing any fighting and killing and stuff. I put in about like 25 hours of just adding on, get out, do something, and then have enough to build a little fortress. So I definitely need to go back on Fallout 4 and beat that.
Fallout 4 is a good first person shooter game. I don't think it's a good Fallout game. But at the end of the day, like, it still was a Game of the Year contender. The only reason it lost is because of Dragon Age, or that might have been The Witcher. I can't remember. But it's like I said, like, if another big RPG comes out that's made, by CD Projekt Red, even though how bad Cyberpunk turned out, or made by BioWare, like, no one else has took these people out of contender for Game of the Year. Like, it's that type of game that it's like, when it pops out, like, let's be real here. people might real cap for the Sony template games, but when a massive RPG comes out from these companies, they 9 times out of 10 always win. And these games that have such a high demand, that's why Bethesda fans get so upset when they drop the ball. Because it's like, look, we got to wait like 8 years for these things to come out, and you drop the ball, now we got to wait another 8.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. That's a really great point. See, I didn't even think of it that way. I mean, Bethesda definitely, because you just look at Doom Eternal. That game was up for numerous rewards. I mean, Bethesda, they know how to make good games. I know that the last couple of games hasn't been their shiny. Well, I can't even say that because, Fallout 76 was the one game that was the biggest blip. Because even if people didn't like Fallout 4, the game still worked and played well. And so, I don't know. I thought Fallout 3 was a better game. Maybe that's why I didn't go fully into it. And I never played Fallout Vegas. I got it, and so I plan on going back and playing that. But a lot of people says that Fallout Vegas is probably the best Fallout. I don't know, but their track record is amazing.
Well, New Vegas is typically attributed because of the work that was done by Obsidian. That wasn't even done by Bethesda themselves. That wasn't done by Bethesda Studios. Obsidian is the reason that New Vegas was so popular. That's also why a lot of people really liked the Outer Worlds, because it took that dark humor and that moral gray area that was in New Vegas and did it with a little bit more humor in it. That was why Obsidian was so lauded.
Well, true, and a lot of people are really anticipating Avowed. So, I don't know. And do you think that Avowed would be like their version of Oblivion?
To be fair, they don't really need it to. I was like, that Avowed is within the universe that they've kind of built with Pillars of Eternity. They've kind of been doing their own thing. It's not meant to be like Elder Scrolls. It's more akin to something.
It's meant to be Elder Scrolls. This game.
Yeah, the game looks it's got similarities from just what we see from the clip.
Like, it might not be Elder Scrolls in terms of time area, but they definitely have built an Elder Scrolls type of game, a type of world and lore to compete with Elder Scrolls. Because this game has been in development for a little bit. Up until last year, these people never thought they'd be sister companies to Bethesda. So there's definitely a little bit of a competition going on between Bethesda and Obsidian. Like, there's no way around.
That part I agree with 100%. They didn't have any idea, and Avowed did remind me a lot of Oblivion for what I've seen. But listen, I do agree with you too, Bloody, that it's really coming off of the Pillars of Eternity. But
the thing about it is that it's a mix, because it's one of those things that it's kind of hard to say, because of the fact that any fantasy RPG can be comparable to each other. Because Pillars of Eternity also has aspects of what you would expect out of Diablo, as well as any other fantasy RPG. Yeah, I can say that it's trying to be Elder Scrolls because of the fact that they're doing a first-person game. I'm just saying that they're just trying to outshine everyone that's currently in that space, because of the fact that now they're able to actually do something big within the universe that they've been working on for years.
I feel like they built Pillars of Eternity. They built an audience for that, and they built a lore for that, because they always intended on using that lore and that world to build their own version of Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, that's.
When Microsoft and them approached them, they pitched Avowed, and they bought them off of just that pitch. So.
No, I don't know. That's a great point. We went a little left with that, but that's kind of interesting, because that Obsidian and then Bethesda now are partners now more than
it makes sense.
Yeah, but it makes sense. But it's just like with anything else. Competition brings in. Competition doesn't have to always be bad. It can be good for all parties involved.
That you just kind of got to think about the way that they're kind of doing is that. Obsidian, people forget that Obsidian were the creators of Fallout first, back when they were still Blackout Studios.
Yeah.
Way back when they were Interplay. Let's say they could do anything and anywhere, But I feel like just because that Elder Scrolls got the big name, that's why people are trying to say, oh, they're trying to do an Elder Scrolls. No, they're doing their own thing that they've been working on for years.
It's not a negative notation. Like, no one's trying to say to copy them. They're trying to make a better Elder Scrolls than they are making. In a way, this is a better Fallout than they've made Fallout recently. So
yeah, I mean that's why you look at New Vegas. New Vegas is a better Fallout than Fallout 3 because of the fact that they know Fallout. They were the creators of Fallout. You would hope that they know what they're doing.
All right. Well, let me just go ahead and go. Let's get to the rest of the panel though, because we're talking about Starfield. So I mean, but I do like that discussion. But let me go to D on this one. What do you think about Starfield so much for what this new information that we've heard? Are you more of a fan of you've played Outer Wilds or No Man's Sky?
Sadly, no. And I should have, because Microsoft actually gave it out for E3 one time, and I still haven't played it. But from what I've seen, the first person like space exploration, akin to No Man's Sky, it looks pretty cool. I'm definitely gonna check it out, but I'm pretty neutral as far as the anticipation and things of that nature. I'm hoping somebody pulls a Fallout 4 this E3, and by that I mean introduction of the game, details about the game, and like the release date and like the same presentation. That's asking a lot, but that'd be pretty cool. Because even though I wasn't like amped for Fallout 4, watching that presentation in 2015 was like just like hit after hit after hit. I just kept saying all this cool shit. Like, oh yeah, by the way, it's coming out this year. I was like, oh my god. So I don't know if they're gonna do that because special editions and all that good stuff. But no, I'm pretty neutral. I'm definitely gonna check it out, but I still haven't played Outer Wilds. Sadly, it's been sitting in my library for literal years. I know.
Well, no, I have never played it either. When I looked at it, I kind of just gave it I'm not interested. Even though I've heard people talk about it, but I have not been. The game has never been recommended to me. So if somebody would say, "Hey, Megan, you might need to check it out," so I just never. I looked at it and watched a few clips and just, I haven't even watched really, really long versions of gameplay of it. But I do have No Man's Sky. Big shout out to Sir X-Man. We were supposed to be playing it. We played a little bit together, but we haven't got full in. And, that doesn't seem to be bad at all. But, I don't know. I'm like you. So I'm totally like you on that. So I don't know. What about you, Slayer? Are you someone that's hype about this now, knowing that this game is going to be more about exploration and not about a deep because it could still have a deep story, but it seems like it's more about exploration, going out and picking up materials, getting stuff for your ship, rebuilding your ship, being more of that type of sandbox than something like Mass Effect. Is this something that you would still be interested in?
In a world where a highly anticipated game from a famed developer is soon to come out, and we still know yet to nothing about it. Last time something like this happened was Death Stranding. Okay, and I'm not trying to say this game is going to be a flop or anything like that. Far from it. However, we still don't know jack and S about it still. So it's hard to gauge. But what we can do is take a look at the situation surrounding it. This was among a couple of other games that Sony wanted from Bethesda. They got a couple, but they didn't get this one, or at least not in time, if the rumors are to be told, right? Because one would think, why didn't they get all three games at the same time? Well, maybe they weren't marketed or working with them at the same time with all three games to get a contract together. And this was another game that they saw and they were like, oh, we want this. So if Tony wanted it, the logic is that it must be a really good game. Well, they also wanted Death Stranding, and I'm not, but once again, so I don't think we should assume that this is such a great game. I'm not saying it's a bad game either. What I'm saying is we know nothing. We just learned that it's some kind of exploration game in space, and that's great and all. but there's really very little we know that we can say anything on. We've seen some supposed screenshots today and stuff. The jury's out still, frankly. So I reserve judgment until I see something I can actually, that's worthy of comment. It's that simple.
Yeah, no, I mean that I totally agree with that, man. It's just something about it that, look, and if this game is going to drop this year, then to me it's like, and I understand that we'll find something out, but I don't know. They need to show quite a bit. What's that?
The thing about Death Stranding is they didn't go after Death Stranding. They went after Kojima, and Kojima made Death Stranding.
That's another good point. So, I mean, look, this game's got to have some kind of potential for. That's what I'm saying. Sony wouldn't just go out and get it, but
true. And I was thinking about that when I said it. I'm sorry.
But it's still the same thing though, too, in a sense, because I mean, because a lot of people didn't gravitate to the last Kojima game, so Kojima just has the name. To me, it's more the factor that it's more the point of. Is that we understand who's going to be making Starfield, and this is supposed to be their baby, and so that they get a lot of respect. Just like he was saying, like you were saying before, Addict, is that these guys make games that are that's pretty much nominated for Game of the Year. So that's a factor. It's a different, unique type of stance, and I mean, of course, like the Outer Wilds is something that just wasn't attractive to me from when I seen it. And again, with all the stuff that was going on with the other game, I just felt like the way Sony kind of threw the guy under the bus once the game didn't sell well, it was kind of like, oh man, But lucky for him that the game is definitely prospered and it's got a lot of extra content. But how that they tried to sell, sell the game like you'll never find another person or anything like that because the game is so vast and big, and then of course somebody found out in like 2 weeks that they could run into each other on the same planet or something like that. So it's one of those things for me is that like I don't want the hype levels for certain games, especially for the games that we don't know yet, to come out and then not be as great as what people are trying to pretend them to be, and then the game might be still a good game, but it might completely just flop because of the fact that nobody is, because everybody was expecting this to be the new great thing next to Halo or God of War or something like that. So that's my only fear about that. That's why I still hold some pause. So I don't know. What do you think about what I was just saying? Oh, go ahead.
It's always worth holding a pause. Like, I don't particularly like the fact that people are trying to compare this to Outer Wilds because. Like, I feel like if you're making, does that mean like exploration wise? Does that mean like you can get in a ship and take off from the I don't. I'm more of a fan of like hub worlds,
Okay.
like the Outer Worlds is. Like, I would have preferred them to go that direction. Obviously, I don't know what this is. Like, obviously, they could make it work. The thing that made No Man's Sky weird is because it was randomly generated. So
right.
Couldn't really do anything like high tech story wise with a randomly generated world. So maybe Bethesda's figured out a way to make this work. I don't know. All I was saying is, to me, they've made enough of my favorite games to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm not telling no one to go out there and buy this game blindly. Wait for like.
No, that's the whole thing for me. Is just like I just keep everybody talking about Starfield. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's cool. It's a new IP that's going to be only on the Xbox. That's great. But again,
the only reason that Sony probably doesn't have their hands on this is all three of them probably with Starfield attached to the other ones probably went out of their price range that they was comfortable investing into. I'm interested. Probably cost triple what the other ones cost together. So.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing for me is that I just tell everybody that's listening, just wait, I understand for an Xbox exclusive, if it comes out this year, that's even great, especially with the lineup of what we've heard for the rumors with Horizon 5, and then of course with Halo going to be dropping, and then something else in between. But if it does drop, and then we see it, and then of course just don't let people just try to, tell you that the game is going to be trash because it might not be exactly what some people are trying to advertise it to be. So I'm glad that, that we're having this discussion, because for people out there, there's some people that's just going to go with it and think that it's going to be something, and it's not. But still, Rain, what is your thoughts on all this as well, bro?
I mean, real quick, everybody else pretty much said the same. I don't generally have interest in that style of game. You know what I'm saying? Not to say Starfield might not be from some of the images that we've seen through Twitter. If those are images from 2018, from how the game is looking, I think we're maybe in for a treat. I think they may be looking to set the bar again. Again, this is coming from Todd Howard, who is also known as the God Howard to a lot of people. Again, from games like Skyrim, Fallout 3, The Elder Scrolls. I mean, just everything that seemingly he touches is magic. Apparently, not that. The farthest I've ever gone is Elder Scrolls Online, and that's the farthest I'd probably ever go, generally for me. Now, not to say that I wouldn't be into Starfield, because it's going to be in Game Pass, right? So it's one of those things to where I'll probably try it out, see what it's hitting for, and if I'm into it, I'm into it. But typically, I'm not. So I'm just hoping that it's going to be a solid game. I'm hoping that it lives up to the name that everybody drives behind Todd Howard. And that's what's more so giving me the anticipation for it, because there are so many people who live and die by this man, by what he creates. And I mean, again, when you go back through the history and you see the games that he's touched, again, they seem like classics. So who's to say that this won't also be a classic? That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, and also right here, I just see Jeff Grubb just posted, because him and Rand Arthur, they just, I guess that there was a lot of people that was saying in super chats about Starfield today, where people were saying that Jeff Grubb said that it wasn't exclusive or whatever, and that Jeff Grubb just said, no, Starfield is exclusive to Xbox and PC, period. That's him confirming that. So again, these guys would know that. So yeah, it's, again, get ready for the game. Even if the game's going to get slander because of the fact that it's going to be an exclusive. so just get ready for that. But but if the game is not for me, it's not going to be for me. But if the game looks fantastic, see, I think that's the thing that holds me back from Outer Wilds is because it graphically is not that appealing to me. And then of course, again with Days Gone, I mean not Days Gone. I can't. What was the other game? No Man's Sky. It's the fact that it looked okay, but it still got that I don't know. It just didn't seem like you can do a lot in that game. But that's just my ignorance, because I know that the game has gotten so much more content. And Sir X-Man, we need to go in there. We need to play that, and I might come back here in another week or two and say, oh man, this game is great. And try to recommend it for other people out there. So, anybody else want to touch on this before we get on to the next topic?
I don't think we're good.
I think we're good.
All right. So here we go, man. We got to talk about this PlayStation stuff, man. We got to. Because, you know what? Xbox said that they had 23 games that was going to be ready to go here in the next couple of years, and PlayStation came back and says they have 25 games coming to PS5, and half of them will be new. So, does anybody have any anticipation of what, any thoughts of what those games could be that could be new or returning games? And how significant is this for the PlayStation base right now that has a PlayStation 5? And I'm not going to say that it's dry or anything like that, because I know that there's other people out there that's been saying it, but but knowing that for the first year for Sony, it's not been as stellar as it has been in previous years. How big and significant is this? I'm going to go to you on this one, D. What is your thoughts about the 25 games that's going to be coming to PlayStation here in the next couple of years?
I think it's great. I'm glad to hear that they have a plan in place to do more IPs, because more IPs are always cool. It's nice to have like your bread and butter, your Ratchet and Clank, your Jack and Daxter, things of that nature, but to have like new IPs, things that people haven't seen before, innovation. I'm all for that. Especially with nowadays, no shade. I'm tired of reboots, remakes. It's like not just gaming, it's like the entire entertainment industry right now. It's just remakes and reboots and all that. So the fact that they're like, yeah, we're trying to do new IPs, I'm here for it, because that means by the time I get my PS5, I'll have plenty to look forward to. I'm also hoping, fingers crossed, everything crossed, I'm hoping for a Sunset Overdrive sequel. I know it's far-fetched. I really don't care what system it comes out on. I just want it to be made. Since they just got Insomniac, I'm hoping that they'll do it, especially since Insomniac wanted to do a sequel, from what I'm hearing the streets say. So I'm all for it. New stuff, 25 is a high number, but everybody's just kind of throwing out numbers these days. But even if it's something that's exclusive to PlayStation, I hope it's out there, because everybody deserves to have stuff on their platform. So I'm here for it. Maybe they can do a new Mod Nation Racers, because I'm a weirdo and I love that game, and I'm very sad the studio shut down. That's far-fetched too, but there are a couple of new franchises they could do, like revive some things. They could do a new Twisted Metal. They could do a new Jak and Daxter. One of those. That'd be kind of cool.
I like how you said no more reboots and remasters, and you literally just asked for a reboot.
No, they could do a sequel. I'm not asking for like a reboot of it.
Oh yeah.
I'm asking for like a legit sequel. Because I don't know what Ratchet and Clank is. I want to say it's a sequel. It's not a reboot of the series. But I'd like a legit sequel to all of those things. Like Mod Nation Racers, I think their studio closed. I don't know if anybody picked up the licensing for that game, but that would be cool to have it on another generation, because I think the last game was on PS3. Nothing came on PS4. So that'd be cool if they kind of brought back sequels to games that they've had before, and also new IPs. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. If anything's confirmed over the summer, because I don't know if Sony's doing E3, if they're skipping it again. But maybe
they're not part of E3.
No.
Well, if they do their own digital situation, maybe they can announce things there. But I think it's exciting. More is good.
They're gonna be a part of the Summer Game Fest with Jeff Keighley's shit.
Of course. Of course. Of course. Of course. Jeff Keighley's going to definitely be a part of that. I mean, listen, it is what it is. I'm glad that Jeff Keighley is out there now, though. I really do. He tried to, fight it back and say that, but look, it's all right to say that PlayStation is your number one platform. There's nothing wrong with that. And you still be in the industry. It is what it is, but yeah, of course.
Keep doing you, Jeff.
Keep doing you, Jeff. There's no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, but let me move on. This Callie, what do you think, man? What games would you be anticipating to come, or that you would want to come out of this 25? And what games do you think will come? I know, of course, that we won't know all of them, but what do you think out of this?
Well, I'm kind of hoping for a Resistance. A new Resistance game, or a possible remake, because Big Cloud, my boy, he seems to think that they're going to be doing something with that IP again.
I like Resistance. Resistance was a dope game, yeah.
Yeah, and also there's also still rumors about a new SOCOM game possibly, but I don't know. I'm keeping my hopes down on that one in case this is not true, but. Other than that, I know that they have been investing in lots of new studios recently, like that one that's made up of former Bungie devs from the Destiny. Yeah, so they are investing in new studios, so they can get some IPs, even if they could just be timed too. It still helps out a lot and makes this launch year still feel better than the PS4, to be honest.
Yeah, somebody said that in the chat that the PS5's launch is better than the PS4's, and now I had to go and look, and I have to agree. So far, because Kina's going to be coming out here pretty soon, even though that's a multiplayer, but regardless, it's still at times exclusive for them. So, and Ratchet and Clank looks fantastic. Returnal looks fun again, but a lot of people still having those issues with that game. And then I think, but I don't know. I think so far, what would you say is PlayStation's best game to date right now at this point?
Okay, you're
PlayStation
asking
5.
You're asking a lot from me because I'm a huge roguelike fan, so I'm going to say Returnal.
Okay, that's fine. No, I'm not asking a lot. If that's your game, that's your game.
I know people are going to disagree because
no, I'm not going to disagree with you. No, I mean, because the game looks. I would play that. I would definitely, if I had a PlayStation 5, I would buy it. Now, if it started doing all that tripping and shit, I would definitely be upset. But I would definitely. But no, that would be a game that I would buy for sure. No, I think the game looks amazing. But just for me personally, I don't know what I would think that a lot of people would say Demon Souls, but
I think a lot of people will say Miles Morales more.
Really, you think so?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it is good. I got it on my PS4, so it is good. So, yeah, I don't know. But people in the chat, let me know which would be what's the best PlayStation 5 game for you right now. At this point, I think by the time Ratchet & Clank comes, I think most people will say Ratchet & Clank because that game looks really, really, really good. But I don't know. So, all right, let's go on to you, Still Rain. What games are you anticipating, you hoping for the PlayStation will bring, and what's something that you think that they will bring? Uh-oh. Silence.
Oh man!
Whoa! Okay.
They tried to mute me, man. See already.
Oh,
they tried to already
man.
get me started. But no. What I was saying before, I was just so rudely muted. The only game that I'm really excited for right at this moment for PlayStation 5 is Forspoken and the possible chances of a Bundle Breaker 4. But supposedly that's going to be crossplay.
Mm-hmm.
No other game interests me at this time that is coming out on that system. So for as far as the 25 games that they got coming out, again, I mean, we got games like, I'm just going through a little bit of a list. We know we got Gran Turismo on the way.
Yeah.
That's always a key point for them. And this is just for going into 2022.
Soul Side is going to be coming
Rings
out.
games,
Yeah.
Pragmata is, I don't know, supposed to be one of those games that they've been talking about.
Pragmata is the one that has my interest the most.
And that's been a lot of people, but for me personally, Forspoken is the only one that I'm really generally interested in. I know I've seen a lot of people hyping this up about the 25 games that Sony got going, but it's like, man, y'all don't think Xbox has the same kind of thing going on? Maybe it might not necessarily be 20, but at the same time, it could be more than that. We've been hearing so many things coming out, and we've been so vocal within the community to say, hey, stop telling us about games that aren't ready, or actually show us content if you're going to announce a game. So it seems like they're holding a lot back on either side. You know what I mean? It's exciting to know that Sony is digging their heels in. You know what I mean? They're not moving. They're standing on the ground. They're saying, yo, we have content coming for everybody that is invested in our ecosystem, and that is extremely important. Because if you look across the street to the competitor, because you have to, when you're in that business, you have to. You see that your competitor is making moves within the Xbox space to not necessarily take the lead on whatever market, but to kind of redefine gaming. So now it's more so. You have to look back into your catalog and say, hey, well, what do we really have coming to give our people a promise? And it's kind of funny because it goes to kind of holds that credence to where, people always say for the Xbox on the Xbox side, hey, y'all are always waiting on games. Now, can't we say the same thing for the other side also?
Absolutely.
And it's actually, aren't you waiting longer for games? Again, like I always like to bring out. Again, another game that I'm excited for is the Factions. Since that's going to be its own game now, because obviously they like to lie to y'all and tell y'all that something's going to be part of a game that's not going to be part of a game until almost 2 years later. So there's other things that they're working on that they got to get into focus. PlayStation is lacking very heavily on the multiplayer side. Yeah, there's these cross-play games or whatever the case might be, and in your cross-platform games or whatever, but other than that, like, there's not much else there. So you're playing your single-player games, whatever the case might be, Final Fantasy 14, your little MMOs, or whatever the case. And then after that, what are you jumping into? Where's the longevity? There's a reason why the retention rate on your competitor side is so close. You can have whatever it is at this point. What does Xbox have as of last generation as far as consoles go? I want to say, what was it, around like 80 million, 70 million?
Oh yeah, anywhere from
Xbox
60 to 80 million, somewhere around there.
And there's a reason why you could have 25 million people in Game Pass. You know what I'm saying? That's over 20% of your base that is invested. You know what I'm saying? So
yes.
and it's because of multiplayer gaming, and it's constantly reinvesting in itself and constantly reinvigorating itself. So it's just something to look to. I hope that a lot of these games are going to be more multiplayer centric games, because those games are what pull my attention. That's what's going to make me say, hey, not only does the story bring me, but it's also the multiplayer. It's the biggest thing that for like on PS3 that they did so well with The Last of Us. The whole reason I bought a PS3 was because of The Last of Us and that multiplayer. I saw my cousin playing a multiplayer. I was like, yo, what is that? He was like, yo, this is Last of Us. This thing move crazy. You put me on Gears. This is kind of similar to that, but it's different. And after that, I was like, yo, I went out and bought a PS3 that next day. You know what I'm saying? So it's things like that get people into that ecosystem, but you have to make those moves. And I just hope that they have those lined up down the road. So, but I like the competition. So.
Oh no, the competition is going to be nice. I mean, I do feel that Xbox is going to overtake this generation, even in the mind share. I don't think it's going to outsell Sony in consoles, but I think for the mind share that I feel that Xbox is going to win it because of Game Pass. But Sony is not going to just bow out. I mean, Sony is going to still be, or Nintendo. We don't really have that much Nintendo news to talk about. I mean, PK, our Nintendo specialist, he's not. He would probably differ on that. But I haven't really heard anything from what Nintendo is coming out with until probably towards the end of the year. So because they're so different of how they approach stuff. So. And of course, they're E3. They're going to be at E3, so we'll get to see a lot more of what they're going to be having coming in store. So yeah, no, the big three is everything is healthy right now. I think that if you're a gamer, you definitely would be excited for everything that's coming, and that Xbox is not in the same boat like it was at this time at the beginning of the last gen. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So it's really good. So let me read the super chat, and then I'm going to go to you and ask you, Slayer, next. Super. Sir X-Man, the only remaster I want is Burnout 3 Takedown. Good grief, man. Just let that game be backwards compat. You know what I'm saying? Let's drop that in there so we can go ahead and we can play it. I mean, because I'm sure that it'll be enhanced a little bit. But if they bring out Burnout, if they do another Burnout, they'll probably try to do Paradise. And I didn't like Paradise that much.
Oh, they really remastered that like twice or something?
Yeah, they did. I just wasn't.
That's not going to be the one. That's not going to be the one. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, please. Yeah. The old school Burnouts were definitely the better ones, in my opinion. So what do you think, Slick? What do you think about what game would you like to see covered from Sony? And then, what games are you thinking that they're going to be dropping?
Well, even before I answer those two questions, I really do want to go back to the original thing you were talking about with the whole announcement of 25 games or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, all right, thanks for trying to drum up excitement with information we should already know, and not to knock Sony with that, but of course,
it was going to come. I knew it was going to come, so I'm trying to be nice about it.
Right? No, I know, but like 25 games or more. Well, like, duh, and Microsoft and a lot of Xbox fans in Twitter space have become, I'm trying to counter this talk with something about 34 or something.
43. I see the list of 43. Yeah.
That's whatever. Okay, whatever. Like, we know both are coming out with games. This is just a blanket number. It really don't mean nothing. It's really just to get, the people riled up. Excitement, to drum up some excitement. But until we see facts and figures, real games with some gameplay, or at least a name, at least, when they showed off God of War Ragnarok, they put the name anyway. It started drumming up in all these rumors. Oh, it was coming out this year. That ain't happening, and all this other stuff. Like, at least it did that, right? But with this, we just have a number, 25. And how many of those games do we already know about? Like, it's just it's a know nothing number. And I'm not trying to say that's a bad thing, because that's what they're supposed to do. But it's telling you what you should already know. Games are coming. Now, as for what games could come out that I would like to see a return, I forget if I mentioned the Hero on the Dragons. I believe it was in Dragon's Den, and that's SOCOM. Now, SOCOM was U.S. Navy SEALs, but SOCOM and the JSOC is a whole bigger thing. It's not just the Navy SEALs; it's all the Tier 1 units that are of that ilk, which includes Delta Force. And so, the Navy SEALs have been in the news in the past, decade or so. Particularly when with Captain Phillips and those Somali pirates, and the fatal capture of Osama bin Laden and other missions like that. They're in the in the consciousness, and people know about them. They're like the modern day ninjas. So to have a game that that could reenact these missions and other fictional things, and then could do a great multiplayer, I would love to see that. I think for both single and multiplayer, much like a Ghost Recon was back in the day, that this is what Sony really needs, and that would be great. But as for anything else I could even think of, there's countless things. They've tried Twisted Metal a couple of times. It didn't really stick too well from what, and that's just my perception. I don't really know.
Did Jaffe make the last Twisted Metal? I don't think he did. Or did he?
No, he made two, and
he made Black and Black.
Yeah, and Black.
Yeah,
right.
Okay, yeah.
He made 1, 2, and Black, and that was it.
He didn't make the two that were after Black, and then he wasn't even brought on to consult for the reboot that they did on the PS3.
On the PS3, which I bought, and I was excited, and then I was just like, "Whoa, this doesn't feel anything." If Sony would do a remaster, do that. Do Twisted Metal Black. Do Twisted Metal Black. Give me Twisted Metal Black. I'd
like to see a new Wipeout. I mean, with today's hardware,
I agree.
You could something high speed.
Well, they brought a Wipeout last. They brought a Wipeout last gen. I got it.
Well, yeah, and that was a great game, and particularly in VR, like, mwah. But I'm talking about if you really want to talk this big talk about an SSD, and you can load in assets on the fly and all that stuff, and with both systems can really do that. But okay, check me out. This is perfect for Wipeout. High speed, you're in these tunnels and whatnot, but the environment is changing around you because of this SSD. They're loading in all types of new assets, all types of blurry crap is just, is flying past you at high speed, and you can't even get to focus on what you're looking at. Sensory overload, because they're loading it in so quick, and at high speed racing, and the weapons and the combat, they could really do something special with Wipeout. And we know they got this VR headset that they're working on. They showed off the controls. I'd love to see that continue to be a VR staple for for Sony. Yeah, that's really another franchise I'd love to see. SOCOM and Wipeout. A lot of people I know don't like to hear about VR either, because it's not on their platform, or they like to think it's a gimmick or whatever. And I'm here to tell you it's not. And Wipeout in VR on the PS4 is ridiculous. And even on the base PS4, I'm not even talking about the PS4 Pro, on the base PS4, that's one of the games that really hold off their headset, and even more so on the Pro. So I can imagine what they could do on the PS5 with a whole new game that takes advantage of that hardware and has that hardware in mind, and this new VR headset in mind. Make it completely next gen. Completely next gen. I think that could be a killer. And then, eventually you're going to put it on PC. Yeah, don't be afraid of that, Sony. This is going to be some big money, because the PC enthusiasts would love a VR-powered Wipeout. You care about money. It's supposed to be a business for you, and we're all saying this. Well, and I'm going to keep that same energy by saying, after it's been on PlayStation for a while, and it's made all the sales, it's going to put that on PC, and I think it's going to have a second life on there and do well there too. So those are two games that I think could do well.
Stick, I'm going to disagree with you with Wipeout, only because I don't think it has a huge fan base, and I much rather prefer a MotorStorm reboot or a remake.
That's a good alternative. I'm not even gonna shame you or nothing on that, man. I can't knock that. I can't knock that. But countless racing games that they have that really could fit. Yeah,
MotorStorm would be great, but I don't know if Sony is. Sony just looks like that they tried to do it with Drive Club, try to get into the racing space heavy, and then once Drive Club didn't compete against Horizon, they just put their main focus on GT. So I don't know. I just don't. I don't know about that. I mean, I think Wipeout would probably be the better option, but
MotorStorm is nothing like those games.
no, but MotorStorm was amazing. Yeah, that was that's what when I mean the trailer didn't look the game didn't look anything like what they advertised with the CG, but the game was fun. It was always a blast.
Of course,
it was a great fun game. Yeah, but
you should read the super chat because it really ties into what we're talking about.
Okay, all right. Sir X-Man, right here he says, let's see. He says, how about a new Hydro Thunder that would be dope? Yeah, I would love a Hydro Thunder.
There's a lot of arcade racer types of games.
I mean, Hydro Thunder would be amazing. But I don't think that would be an exclusive to Sony. I think that would be a multi-plat. But yeah, a Hydro Thunder. I would just love a Hydro Thunder. I've said this before. If the day that they decide to bring House of the Dead back and put it on VR, I will try VR at that point.
Bro, my lights on. I finally got my tracking numbers. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be playing some of that really soon.
Yeah. But you realize that House of the Dead is a Sega title, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that I'm saying that's not on PlayStation to bring back. That's on Sega.
Right. I'm just talking about because he was bringing up about VR. I'm just saying for myself personally, for me to invest into anything VR would be House of the Dead would be that game for me. That's it. Yeah, a new version.
Speaking of the last House of the Dead, I know it was on PlayStation and the Wii. House of the Dead Overkill, but they had Typing of the Dead Overkill on PC, but it's unlockable in that game. Okay, so if you want it on PC, you just actually have to buy, Typing of the Dead Overkill, and it's unlockable in there.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. All right. What about you, Addict? What out of these 25 games, man, what would you want to see, and what do you think that PlayStation will present to us? I mean, I know it's kind of tongue in cheek, but I mean, what would you like to see? I think I kind of want to know more about that overall.
I don't know. To be honest with you, I know that they got stuff going.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the 25 number thing is just inflated numbers. Is it because first off, the good thing Sony's always done is they've always kind of relied a lot on the second party time deals.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming a lot of that has to do with this. Maybe they'll get Persona 6. I don't know. It looks like that might that might be a multi-plat. I don't know what's doing it. To be honest with you, I brought this up on Facebook. On Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I thought 4 months ago they said they were going to be focusing on bigger titles. I'm not necessarily on
they did.
Titles.
They did, and so that to me, it makes me think that it's a lot of remasters and remakes.
I feel like
all this PR talk is just PR talk. So some of the shit that people say doesn't mean anything.
Well, no, you're right about that. I mean, but it's just, I don't know. It's just interesting to me that I think that they were just trying to combat against Xbox's 23 number, and then they just said, let's just do better and just show 25. I don't know. But go ahead, Attic. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I feel like obviously they're going to come out with the Hawk games. They're going to come out with the next Spider-Man.
Oh, the Hawk, the old school Warhawk.
What?
Did you say Warhawk? Did you say Hawk? You said Hawk, the old school. Oh, okay. I thought you said Warhawk. I'm like, okay, I'll be all over Warhawk.
They're going to come out with the Spider-Mans. They're going to come out with the God of Wars. And I think when it comes to this, I think that they're referring to, because I don't really necessarily think that when it comes to their studios, to me, I would prefer them to invest in the other studios and not double the studio size of the ones that they currently have. Because when a studio starts working on 2 to 3 projects, that's why I don't want Obsidian working on 4 projects at once. Because regardless how many times you double the staff, there's a reason Obsidian games do what Obsidian games do, is because those core people is what makes those games. And you can't duplicate those core people. You can hire other people, but those core people is what make Obsidian. So, I would prefer them just to invest in the other studios and not necessarily. I mean, clearly, who's going to make the better games? The studios that they currently have now. And if you double them, you potentially might have better games down the line than just what their core studios do. But to me, right now, I feel like until I see otherwise, I feel like this is their core games and some timed exclusives and some remakes.
Okay. All right. What about you, Bloody? What do you think?
I mean, outright, kind of with everyone, it's PR speak. They have to drum up the prospects. It could be more, it could be less. The other aspect is, as Addict brought up, Sony has always relied on second-party, third-party deals. These 25 titles, half of them new IPs. Okay, cool. Where are the studios that they're coming from? Because in the past year, they've shut down, what, 2, 3, 4 studios? And yeah, they have the new one that's coming on from the ex-Bungie and other devs and stuff like that to work on that shooter that we talked about a couple weeks back.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. There's one new studio.
And there's that one studio with that chick from Ubisoft or Google.
From Google. Jade. I'm all for whatever she's doing, right? But that's two teams, 2 studios with what I think that one's called like Haven. Okay, you still are only utilizing 4 of your main studios after basically either scrapping other studios or basically making everyone else act as a support studio. Because when you look at Sony, what are the 4 studios that are always pumping something out that they're focusing on? Sony Santa Monica, God of War. You have Naughty Dog with Last of Us. You have Insomniac now with what they did with Spider-Man and Ratchet and Clank, and
I think of Insomniac, they're at their limits. Like, it's going to take a little bit after this Ratchet and Clank comes out. Like, people, I guess because they're popping out so many games so rapidly and so quick, that's high quality. They're like, oh, Insomniac's coming out something next year, the year after. No,
they're not. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Is that's where it comes down to.
Their studio is probably pushed to the limit to make out these games so quickly.
And I think that the next game that they'll work on is going to be the next 2 games they'll work on. I do think that it's going to be Sunset Overdrive and another Spider-Man.
Well, the thing about doing another Spider-Man, that still has to come from if Marvel is doing it, and you got to kind of see that Marvel's trying to spread out their portfolio and try to either focus on exclusives, or they're really trying to push for multiplats, because Marvel and Disney all about that money, unless they're making big deals that are getting paid for, kind of like what we're seeing with the Lucasfilms and Indiana Jones game that's in development over there with Xbox and Bethesda Studios and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, there has to be big money being thrown around to kind of keep that aspect of what's working in. But the fact is, you're stating that you have 25 games and half of them are IPs. I feel like a lot of these may be more indie titles coming from smaller teams and stuff like that, or maybe they're trying to take a page out of Microsoft's book and what the Xbox studios are doing by, hey, guess what? We have smaller projects being done by smaller teams within our studios, but it's not taking away from our core teams, kind of like what Addict brought. You look, like he said, with Obsidian. Obsidian's able to do 4 projects because of the fact that there's other small teams within that are like, hey, we want to do something different. They're like, what do y'all want to do? We want to do this. Cool. Y'all have a team that y'all could do it? Kind of. Y'all need additional help? Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 people. All right, go hire them. Everyone's still focusing on the main stuff, but they're letting people kind of move around a little bit and do their own thing, but it's not taking away from their core focus. So unless they're doing that, which even still is going to kind of stretch it thin, because you still, again, have only 3-4 studios, that's no way that each studio is working on 4 projects themselves. If they are, that's a miracle, but you already look at their output alone. The fact is, Naughty Dog took, 6 years or so between The Last of Us and The Last of Us 2, 8 years, whatever, almost an entire generation, because The Last of Us 1 came out in 2011, 2012, right before the PS3 launched, and just last year or 2 years ago, whatever, they just put out the part 2. That's a 7-year cycle. You're telling me an entire generation for one game from one studio.
Yeah, they also worked on Uncharted 4.
Okay, yeah, Uncharted 4. But I think that came out, at the start of the generation, right? Back
2015. 2016? Okay, yeah.
Okay, but even still, that's still one of those things of, and one studio put out 2 exclusives within an 8-year cycle. How are y'all going to support 25 if they're all coming from supposed first party. That's what I'm saying, is that a lot of these have to be.
Yeah, no, not all of these games are going to be.
Yeah, but the thing is that this is just going to be a tempered expectations kind of thing. That there's got to be, Sucker Punch you. Right, thank you, Tryhard, for that. Sucker Punch absolutely killed it with what they did with Ghost of Tsushima. But before that, what was the last game that they worked on, which was
Infamous
Second Son. Yeah, Second Son. And I was like, I really like Second Son, but they kind of didn't get much more support for being able to make more Infamous games, which I think was obviously really well done.
I don't know. That to me, I think Sony doesn't mind having the Infamous games. So that could be the next game that they work on top of and probably towards the end of the year, Ghost of Tsushima 2. I can definitely see that.
Yeah, but no, try hard. I'm not saying that indie games don't count. I was like, I'm all about it, but that's what I'm saying is that this number is literally just a PR thing. I was like, that's what I'm saying is that a lot of these are going to be coming from second party or third party studios. That's where a lot of it is. Yes, they may have 14 studios, but where are the output coming from these other studios? Because the only ones that are being talked about are the big ones. Now they have the team that's working on Astrobot. They made that a full team now, but they kind of scrapped the rest of Japan's studio to do that.
Right.
That's where the issue is.
I think mostly
that's where I see it.
I think what it is that that some of the on this list is going to be second party exclusives or maybe exclusives as well. So that's what's going to be.
They have to be. But no matter no matter whether they are or not, it's a good thing to see. But I just feel like people seeing that kind of number and just getting yes, it's going to build excitement. That's cool. But you have to still kind of look at it and the fact of, okay, they got this much. When are we going to start seeing it more? Because you could say, hey, yeah, we have 25 projects in development. Okay, when are they going to start coming? Y'all could say y'all have 25 projects in development, but they're not coming out for another 8 years. There's parts of the conversation and parts of the information that's being left out because of the fact that they're just trying to focus on everything.
Right. All right. So, all right, let's get on and get to one of my main topics. I can't wait to hear what you guys got to say about this. I promise I will keep my emotions in check if people say something slanderous about my main man, but I do want to hear about this. I made a video talking about it, and that was we discussed a little bit about Halo last week, but now I think I want to get more information from you guys, especially about the significance of how impactful does Halo Infinite needs to be coming in. And listen, I love Halo 5. But again, Halo 5 is one of those games you hate it, it's okay, or you love it. It's not, it's not unanimous like Halo 3 or 2 or 1. So so for Infinite, and all the crazy stuff that we've heard about, like Halo is falling off and all this stuff, that's completely irrelevant. That doesn't make any sense. But 343 is definitely getting a lot of attention with this game, and especially now that they showed that the one of the generals or minions under Atriox, Hyperius, is allegedly, for what some people think, is that Locke. Spartan Locke is dead because he has his helmet on his shoulder and he has his chest plate on his shoulder as well. My first question on this, and I'm gonna go to the guests on this. I'm gonna go straight to Addict on this one first. How impactful would that be if Locke is dead? If they kill Locke off like that, and how serious is it that, and what kind of hole that 343 is in with Halo Infinite if they don't deliver with this game and it's just as divisive as Halo 5 was?
I personally feel like Locke is going to die in this. I don't know if it's going to be one of those things where it's
let me take a drink while you say this.
Okay, I don't know if it's one of those things that. One second. I don't know if it's one of those things that happen between the games or if it's going to happen like in the prologue of Halo Infinite.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. I think that that is one of Atriox's men. and Atriox is a very high strong person. I don't think he's gonna let him wear that man's helmet like that if he didn't kill him. That's just how the character that they built called Atriox. Atriox by himself took on 3 Spartans by himself and made them look like they were nothing. Sure,
he beat Red Team's ass. He beat Red Team's ass. But that's not Atriox who got his it's Hyperius. It's one of his lieutenants.
We don't know the conditions of Locke dying. For all we know, Atriox and Locke could have been fighting, and the dude just showed up and then he ended up fighting. Like he could have fought Locke when he was injured. Like there's so many conditions to this, but to me, the main condition is that man's helmet is on that dude's arm. I do not see Atriox will let one of his generals walk around with a trophy that he didn't earn.
Oh, nice. Great point.
I don't know if it's going to be a meaningful death. I don't know if they're going to kill him off screen, which I hope not. I think, regardless how people feel about Locke, I do think if he does die, he deserves an on-screen death. I don't know who's killing him. It could be him. It could have been the other general. For all we know, it could have been Atriox. And Atriox, I don't know. I feel like if he does die, it should be like protecting someone like Master Chief or something meaningful that would draw the Halo fans. You know what I'm saying?
So you saying that so Locke would have to save Chief again, and he loses his life for it this time? Because in Halo 5, he saved Chief and Blue Team. But okay, keep going.
Saying that it's best to kill him. There's Spartans die usually gruesome deaths. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, there's not a whole lot of ways that I could see. I want it to make sense narratively in the story. Right, if they just kill him off camera, I will be very upset if he is dead. Mm-hmm. Because you want my honest opinion, I don't even know. When they did that intro showing, when they did the gameplay, that wasn't Atriox speaking at the end of that gameplay. That was one of these generals.
Oh yeah, that's Escheron. That's his name, Escheron.
Yeah, I don't understand that wasn't Atriox. That's one of the biggest people in there. That should have been Atriox he was speaking to. I'm kind of curious why Atriox wasn't in that. So I'm kind of thinking Atriox might be dead. So, I don't know what's going on. I know they brought the Flood back and the expansion that Atriox was in. Mm-hmm. I have no clue what that's about. They have Cortana still running around. Like, to me, that's not even my biggest concern. My biggest concern is how is 343 going to be able to narratively tell all of these variables in this story effectively in Halo Infinite? I don't think it's possible. One of the biggest things that we could say is 343 really hasn't talked about Locke at all. They haven't mentioned this dude at all. He's never been in any kind of promotion for Halo Infinite, to my knowledge, besides his helmet being on the Brute's on the Brute's armor. Has he been in any other type of promotion?
No, no. Only person that I know that says that they would confirm to come back was Tanaka, and from also hearing from leaks. Now I don't know, how leaks can be or things like that. Was Vale, but Tanaka, she already confirmed it, and she was part of Team Osiris. So we do know that. So we don't even know anything about the Buck actor, the Buck character, because Buck is doing some other stuff, with having a TV show and stuff like that. So we don't know what his schedule is like at all either. We haven't heard anything about Buck.
I just want my biggest concern is if Locke does die, I don't want to be on the screen. I like, even if it's like one of those things where they fast forward and Atriox took over the galaxy. Even if it's one of those things that they're running and Atriox just gets his hand, like Atriox's dude gets his hand on Locke, I want to see it. I want it to be an emotional thing, not, you're doing a briefing and Locke died 6 months ago and you didn't see it.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. Yeah, no, that might give me to be. I'm almost out of there on Halo if they just disrespect the character as strong and stern as he was in 5. I said, look, I'm going to let everybody talk before I go in because I can't let my emotions give me a check on this one.
He could be missing in action too.
Right. Like, there's so many other factors on it, but again, no. You make some compelling points, and also the point about like there is no advertising but there hasn't been really no advertising for anybody else except for Isharam, and now they're showing Hyperius and Master Chief, and then the no guy. I don't know his name. The guy that's in. Yeah.
They don't even talk about Locke on Twitter. Like,
No, but they haven't talked about anybody though. That's the only thing that we've really heard about Halo Infinite is about Chief. We haven't heard anything about Cortana. We haven't heard anything about anybody else. Like, I mean, just except for just the Banished and Chief. And the only reason why we know about the one guy, the sidekick character, I don't know, he's the pilot that woke Chief up. But yeah, but that's the only thing that we know. They've been very secretive about the story, and that's why I'm asking: is it how serious is this story has to be for 343? You know, to get people, you know, fully excited about Halo to where it's unanimous. You know, that's a question.
As long as they do it right, and if Aatrox is alive, I think people should be excited just because Aatrox is in it. I don't know. I know Halo Wars isn't the gameplay people generally like, but go look at the cutscenes. Aatrox is the most dominant figure they've ever had in Halo history.
Absolutely.
I said that what I thought was that Aatrox was actually one of the most aggressive and actually intimidating villains.
He's one of them up there. Look, I don't know how many people. I don't know how many people's beaten The Witcher 3, but the Wild Hunt is very intimidating. They were very intimidating to me. Like every time I seen any of those guys, I was like, oh shit, hold on, let me make sure I got all my medicine and everything ready to go because I know I'm about to have some battle. That's how I feel about the Banished. Like especially playing in Halo Wars 2. Yeah.
You know how I was really 100% on Aatrox's side is when he fought the 3 Spartans, the red team, and he had one. He knocked off one of their helmets. He had it in his hand, and he said, "Just as I thought, just a man," and he just rips it in his hand.
Yeah.
No one 343 really publicly on games. They haven't showed anyone completely dominating the Spartans, and he did 3 of them.
Yeah, by itself. Yeah, no, I mean you're totally right. All right, so those are great points. I mean, you kind of broke my heart a little bit because you made some valid points that's got me thinking. Got to make me take another sip on that. But I gotta go to my main man here. I gotta go to Still Rain, brother. You know, come on, man. What's going on, man? Do you think Locke is gone? I mean, and how impactful does this story have to be for 343?
Do I think Locke is gone? For me, I hope not. Just like Addict was saying, I really hope not, without giving him a proper way out or whatever the case might be. Because again, it just feels like a cop out. You didn't introduce the whole team well. You didn't introduce Locke well. You didn't introduce Buck well. The whole team Osiris and everything that Oni does, you have not really dived into. So just to kill off this character who has, bro, if some of y'all might have read or even listened to some of these stories that that Team Osiris has been through, brother, he does not get taken down easily. And yes, Aatrox can fight 3 Spartans and he gets busy, whatever the case. But again, like Addict was saying, we don't know if that's going to be the big bad. Yeah, we saw his lieutenant from Halo Infinite and everything else. It's one of those things for me. Well, they have to make it make sense, right? Everything has been so fixated on Chief, and that's the biggest thing. That was the biggest reason that people had issues with Halo 5, is that you introduced this whole other character, and we wanted Chief. So now it's like, okay, so now that you forced this character into the story, what are you going to do with them? And then when you see the Mega Bloks leaks and you see everything else and you see old buddy he got Hyperius, he got the face mask, because if you notice, it's not the whole helmet. No. It's like the face mask. So it's like the fact that the face mask is on his shoulder or whatever, it gives you that intimidating factor, because again, we haven't had a real threat since when? You know what I mean?
The Arbiter.
Other than the Hive Mind? Or the
Hive Mind,
even the Arbiter, really. Because...
I was going to say, keep in mind that game, that little snippet of gameplay they showed us last year. Like they even said, like it wasn't like during the war. They won. They already
won.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And see, and that's the other thing about it. So it's like, where are we at in this story? Because the thing that gets me is because if you tune into, I can't remember the name of the books at this moment, but the books that take place after Halo 5, there is other things that go on as they try to get away from Cortana, as they try to get their squads back together, and get things situated that go on between then and then what happens in Halo Wars 2. Also, it's like, bro, it's like, where are we fitting in? And then you're just like, you're automatically, from what we know, dropping Chief already onto this new ring. How did Chief get here? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's floating in space. Why is he floating? Are you going to explain all these things? And that's what I'm hoping for. That they do that. Go ahead.
My fear is that like 343 has a habit. It's like, okay, we're doing this story.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff in this story is going to be explained in books. If you didn't read the books, oh, you screwed. It ain't my fault. You like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that could be a huge problem. I
really
hope
343 can't do that this time. They can't.
In one of the last books they had, it was literally about Chief and his team going to Reach, trying to find something to take down Cortana.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's like, so from that point to now, how did he end up in space? Why are we just running up on him and he's lost all of a sudden? Like, it's like, that doesn't make any sense. But at the same time, it could be part of that 10-year plan. Are you going to give us this story to give us a lot of backstory, what's happened in between this time, and then we eventually get to the point with everything that's going on with Aatrox? Like, where are we really starting at? And that's what I want to find out.
I can almost I'm almost willing to put money on it.
That they're going to time skip it?
Halo Infinite is going to probably do half the game's going to be about his generals. The other half of the game is going to be about Aatrox. I don't know if they'll kill Aatrox. I don't know what's going on. And then around the end of the game, then the Flood will probably show up, and then like bam, to be continued.
Because isn't that the other thing too, that Aatrox and them, they ran into the Flood again? Like they accidentally unleashed the Flood again?
Yeah, they accidentally. See, that's the thing too. Like, I mean,
so it's like, where did the Flood come from? It's like, you gotta fit these pieces together.
I can't just keep interrupting because I know that there's other people that want to talk about it as well. So yeah, but go ahead. But yeah, because I got a lot of stuff that I want to add to it, but I got to let everybody else because I don't want to say something that they might say. So, but go ahead.
No, that's a fact. But other than that, I mean, that's pretty much it. I just hope that they tie the story together very well. Me personally, I've liked the story of Halo so far up to this point. Was 5. The only problem I had with 5 was that I felt like it was plot armor. Even though you understood why that Chief was given this ability to not be affected by what happened. But still, it felt like plot armor. It didn't feel genuine to the story, whatever the case. I just hope that they fill in a lot of these gaps and they make everything kind of just seamless, and they actually put out a good story. So,
all right, no, that's a great point. All right, so let me go to you, D. What is your thoughts about this? Do you think that Locke is going to be out of there in this game, and you know how impactful does this story has to be in order for people to unanimously love this game?
Why you do me like that, bro? You know I ain't played no Halo.
I know, but I just you just give your thoughts about it, and you don't have to be long about it. You can just say whatever, because I know somebody else on here who don't play Halo like that. So,
but I don't like making uneducated guesses.
Okay.
So I don't know the lore or anything. You know me. I just hope it's what the fans want, but that's as far as I can go because I literally know nothing about it.
Okay.
Literally, I played not a second, not even seeing like a start menu. So
didn't play any of it. All right, yeah. I recommend you to go try to check it out. And see if you like it or not. I mean, I don't know, but if you don't, you don't. That's no big deal.
I did download it. I just haven't gotten to it yet. And that's the case with a lot of games. I'm like, all right, I'm going to sit down, close everything, just focus. And I just haven't had that time to dedicate to it. And a lot of other games. So I will get to it.
Adulting is hard, man. Adulting is hard, man. I totally get it. So it's no big deal. It's no big deal. And if Halo is not one of those games that that was in your wheelhouse from the beginning, then yeah, it would be pretty. It'd be one of those things that it would be pretty daunting to go back and to play everything just to have this moment just to talk about it now. So yeah, take your time and just do that. So all right, so let me go to let me go to Six Layer, another person who isn't like fully into the
Halo dude.
Oh my goodness! All right.
Wow.
All right,
insult, slander,
the slander,
man, the butches.
But hold on for a second. Hold on, I want to hear what he has to say, and then I want to hear what Bloody has to say, and then Callie, and then I think the real Halo discussion will come after that once now since we know. Well, I mean, because you're okay. What is? Are you going to say the same thing that D said? You're not into Halo like that.
Who says I'm not into Halo like that?
Okay, so give me your thoughts on it. You think Locke is going to be gone or not?
Bruh.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yo, shout out to Wyclef. What, anything could happen. We do not know what's going to happen. This could be a red herring, right? Mm-hmm. This could be any number of things. Maybe he goes out like a G, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe they're going to do what they did to Raiden with MGS4, right? Where he redeems himself. He becomes a badass in the eyes of the community who used to think he was a bitch, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, he had a badass game of his own. Love that game, Revengeance. Fun game. That first level you fighting against that Metal Gear, like, wow. Okay, so they could do the same thing for Locke, or they could completely punk him. We do not know. And really, KMEGA, when I think back on it, this whole debate, I really think you started it. Mm. You started it, right? And let's say it wasn't literally you, but you definitely have kept it in the minds of everybody in the community close to you, okay? It doesn't take 17 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Like, anybody who knows you or talks to you or whatever, who's within your sphere and a couple layers past that, knows what you have to say on this subject. You keep it relevant to us. Now it may be something where it's not about what happens, it's about the perception now. Because whatever they planned for it and already had executed even before you started debating this, right?
Right.
So no matter what they do, you're going to feel some type of way different than you would have if it just happened naturally. So I'm hoping the dude is not going to die. I don't want him to die. I really don't, but I don't know what's going to happen. And everybody's talking. In my opinion, more people are talking the talk that he's probably going to die than not, right? Mm-hmm. That's just my perception of things, right? I wonder how many people are going to feel because they had that opinion that they influenced this. When, once again, bears repeating, whatever they chose to do, they chose and implemented this, I think, long before anybody really started debating it. This was already set in stone. So it doesn't matter what we think of it now. We've already made it into this big thing in our minds, and it's way past that. It's become something way bigger. I just really hope he doesn't die. I don't want to see that. And if he does, I at least let him go out like a G in the game for a purpose, for something. Much like Sergeant Johnson, an original Spartan. Okay. Okay, from Project Orion. Correct.
Yeah,
okay.
Technically a sport. Yeah, I see.
Right.
Yeah, he was one of the originals.
That's why they call it Spartan 2. That's why they call it Spartan 2. Right. Yeah. Retroactively, it refers to his class as Spartans. Okay, so don't question my Halo knowledge ever again, sirs. Okay, but yeah, I think I've made my point. I don't want to see it happen, but we really don't know, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. And I think this has already become a big thing in our own minds, no matter what happens. And it was already decided before we started debating about it in the first place. So,
Okay.
It is what it is, and we have the control over it. So.
All right. So let me go to well, Bloody. I already know what you said about it. So I mean, you know.
Yeah, Skip.
Skip. All right. So.
No,
all right.
go to 108. Let's go.
No, I don't care if you ain't got a lot of time. You know what I'm saying?
I do a guest appearance.
Yeah. Well, I got Calirex. I got a guest. You can't just pop in and say
guest appearance. You know I'm doing other things, but
yeah, I got Calirex to go.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, let's get it, Cali. Let's go.
This man can't come here and just start demanding
Cali.
something.
Cali.
What do you think, Cali?
Let's go.
You have any thoughts on this?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really care about the start. I'm not that heavily invested, but I do know how fucking writers are nowadays. Because I've seen how lazy writers have been, and they'll just write off a character's death off screen in some dialogue or text.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what's gonna happen to Locke. He's gonna be off screen.
Oh my god.
And if any of you guys want to take a bet, I would be happy to bet.
Oh, okay. Well, let's make a bet.
Smoke. Just say it like that, Calirex. You want the smoke.
You want the smoke. I'm willing to take that bet. I'm willing to take that bet. Locke is not going to die. I will bet a video game for GRG, a giveaway right when we find out. Game of their choice. It won't be a collector's game, so don't get it. But a game of their choice.
I'll make it interesting between you and me.
Yeah.
Okay, brother. So here's what we do. You know they're gonna come out with some kind of special edition that you gotta pre-order.
Oh boy.
The person who wins between you and me, right? I'll take the side of him dying, even though like I said, I don't want that to happen. I really wanted you to win in terms of the conversation.
Yeah.
But you know they're gonna have that special edition, right? That we super fans are going to covet. Right. The one that wins gets it gifted from the other between you and me.
Okay, deal. I'm with that.
You heard that?
That's a deal. And this is right here. This is my bet to Calirex right here. I bet that he is not going to be written off like that. He won't be written off like that. And if I win, you will you'll donate a game to GRG, and if I'm wrong, then I donate a game to either you or to your podcast to Extinct Level Gaming.
Right, that sounds fair.
I feel fair. I'm with that.
No offense, hey man.
Yeah.
You might as well.
Are you ready for my?
You said, Addict, you said I need to get this money ready. I need to start saving it.
You might as well pre-order and send them out right now.
Oh man, all right, disrespect. All right. Hanosis says great show, dudes. Thank you so much.
Smart money, baby.
All right, that's fine. I definitely feel that come up. All right, 108, your turn. What do you think?
Yo, listen, man. Listen. As a dude that read the novels, right? I told KMEGA before the game came out, I said, this is not a story that people was going to attach themselves to because they didn't like it. It was like making Superman the villain in DC. It didn't last, right? Whether or not Locke is dead, the portrayal of the character is dead. Yeah. Because they didn't put the work into the character like they should have. That's a fact. I'm a Halo fan. I'm retarded for Halo. My favorite game on Xbox. What I'm telling you is, I'm saying Locke will not be detrimental to Halo Infinite. As Phil Spencer stated when he went on stage, you will be playing as Master Chief.
Oh, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about his death. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying I'm not discrediting Locke, KMEGA.
No, I'm not saying you discredited him.
Locke was gangster. But what I'm saying is, he could be dead.
He could. Yeah, he could. That's why I'm making the bet. Like, we don't know. I don't know.
No. Fact. We don't know. But I'm saying, I'm just talking about what I know from the experience. Yo, listen, I thought Locke was an awesome character.
Yeah.
The betrayal, the presentation, let me say, that they betrayed Locke in was fabricated. So everybody has a misconception of who Locke is. You know, it's like when you played Halo. Oh my God.
ODST.
Not ODST. What's the one after that? Reach.
Yeah.
All of them died.
Yeah.
Trying to be something. So maybe he met that fate, but we don't really know. I don't want Locke to be dead. Locke was an awesome character. The betrayal between how they betrayed Halo 5 was mad inconspicuous and mad deceptive. It really was never what it was. You understand?
Yeah.
But I don't think Locke is dead.
Did you mean inconsistent?
Huh?
Inconsistent, you meant?
No, but it was inconsistent because they portrayed Master Chief in a bad light and made Locke look like, oh, I'm taking over this and my team is going after Master Chief. But it really wasn't that case. You know, it was a misconception. And that's bad marketing.
But
so
see, at the same time, it wasn't though, because in the story, Chief, he disobeyed a direct order.
Right.
He said, "No, I'm not doing that."
No. You know, Rain. You know I love you, bro. Facts. I'm a Halo dude, but they confused us as consumers.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact.
As gamers for the Halo series, they confused. The hardcore dudes is like, what the hell's going on? So the casuals definitely didn't understand what's going on. What I'm saying is, they didn't kill him off, and then they didn't co-sign his existence.
Yeah.
So now we got to wait to Infinite to see what the hell's going on and where they taking the series. But like I told KMEGA, that's not a novel that was popular. And KMEGA would tell you, he was like, "You read the novels?" I said, "Yeah." Right, KMEGA?
Yeah. But continue. Come on.
So,
because I got to get to my points.
No. I'm gonna let you get your point, and you know I can't stay long because I'm at my sister's wedding. But I had to tap in because I can't miss my GRG sessions. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to story, that's not a story people wanted, and now they have to rebuild off of that situation and then go from there because that's not a story that people wanted. But you know, you have to reflect on every situation. You know what I'm saying? And it's a great situation. Like what KMEGA brought up, I said, who the hell is talking about is Locke alive? But then I said, hold up, ain't nobody talking about that. You understand? Which I thought was a great subject. Now it's a conversation for debate. That was a great subject that nobody else on no other body's channel is talking about. So it's a great debate. So now he brought it up. We're talking about it, and then we got to see where it goes. I'm just saying facts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I got you. This is my thing right
shout
here.
Out to you for even talking about that. Facts.
Well, I mean, there's other channels that's talked about it, but most of those channels that talk about it is in glee, hoping that Locke is dead. I'm making it for a person. I'll say, so this is it right here. I got it, because I want to give one more topic and then so we can get out of here. But it's just what I was saying in my video, and I'm going to say this here, and this is, it would be offensive to me if you already killed off Johnson, and now you're going to kill off Locke, another prominent black male that is stern. He's not a Cole. He's not a Barrett from Final Fantasy VII. He's not rambunctious and loud and funny. He's a serious, no nonsense dude. He is a
put in work and do what he got to do.
Yeah, he do what he got to do. He's a leader. He has a team. You sit here and you make the perfect character that I as a person of color can follow. On top of that, has a dope ass team of women of different colors, and also has a white male. So they are the most diverse group that's in Halo history, pretty much. And then you just go ahead and you already killed Johnson, which was already, but Johnson was more of a sidekick type of person, but then you kill off Locke too. Yeah, I'm going to be highly pissed if they do that. And especially how Calirex is saying it, where they just kind of write him off. And I agree with Addict. I'm like, Wait a minute. Hold on. You just gonna just kick him out like that? Like not give him a chance because there's a group that only just wants Master Chief to be the focal point of this particular game, which the game is supposed to be bigger than that. I would take offense to that.
I don't look, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
We can't just say just a group. I think the mass majority of Halo wants Master Chief in the center. Like,
no, I'm talking about for people that want Chief to be the only protagonist from all these games going forward, and that is a mistake if they do that. So let me make a point. Let me make a scenario right here, okay? And this is that my boy Terminus. He made this point. I am not going to take it and steal it as it was my own. But I have said this, and he just said it more eloquently. So it was more of the thing of saying, like, Master Chief is the vessel of Halo, right? He is a vessel. But it doesn't mean that there can't be other vessels that also enlighten the Halo universe. Because that's where 343 has got to go. Listen, if Bungie can finally get it together and do it, then 343, damn it, can do the same thing. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not. It can't. It would have been better if they kept Chief on ice since when he was on ice in 3, and then bring him back now. Then that would be the most wow thing in gaming right now. But the fact that you sit here and you didn't, because of the marketing for Halo 5 was absolutely horrid, because they gave this false pretense of Locke was more like a villain trying to hunt Chief, and then when you actually play the game, it was completely different. Most people ain't read the books or the magazines and know anything about Oni or the Shadow or the Shadow team or any of that, right? They don't know none of that. So 343 has to be better at telling a backstory with what happened, what's going on, because they did admit that, well, they didn't only admit, they confirmed that all the events that's going to happen in Infinite is right after, is coming after Halo 5 and Halo Wars 2. So which means to tell me is that if Locke is dead, and I made my bet, and I will definitely pay up, but if Locke is dead and they just write him off, then again, 343 just completely lost me. And I've been on 343 Inc.'s team, especially how they wrote Halo 4, which I thought was probably Halo's best story next to 2 in Reach, in my opinion. And you know, Halo 5 wasn't the best story, but I looked at it like the Tokyo Drift of the Halos. It's the one that people like, you know what, that just didn't make any sense. But once you get further into the movies, it makes perfect sense and it's all tied in together. So that's how 343 has to do that. If they don't do that, just because there's a fan base that don't want any threat to Chief or trying to make or people to even like something, you know, like Red Team more or somebody else more than Chief, then 343 is going to fail, and then Halo is going to become stale as shit, because if you keep throwing the same green guy every time into Halo from years to come, and they got a 10-year cycle to do that, it's going to dry out real quick, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
See, I want to add something to what you're saying real quick, KMEGA, because the fact that you made a good analogy with everything, right? Mm-hmm. With the fact that Halo has to evolve past one character, and you can look at several other games that have done that have grown. Look at Super Mario, right? Mario, everyone knows Mario is still the face of the series, right?
Yes.
But there has now been more spin-offs showing Luigi as a face. We've seen stuff with Princess Peach. Yoshi's had his own spin-off series. Even Toad has become a face. And it all goes within the universe. But the fact is, they're all branched out to be able to do their own thing. Even other series, like, I bring up Yakuza because of the fact that I'm a big fan of that, right? But look at what they've done recently. In the last couple games, they added more main characters outside of just Kiryu as being the focus. And now with the latest game, they have an entirely brand new cast. Yeah, they brought back the old characters to kind of tie the story all together, but now they're focusing on whole new characters, all within that universe, and they have another game with an entirely separate character that's within that universe that doesn't even know about everything that's going on.
Right.
They've been able to build that universe out without needing to focus on one person anymore. That's what Halo needs to do, because when you look at the books and everything they've done in all the mediums, from even the anime and even the movies that they've done, they focused on so many other stories that are within the universe that don't need to center around Chief, and they do really well.
Right.
That's what they need to really focus on.
Yeah, people can't tell me that they gotta have Chief all the time, because Reach was fantastic. There was not a Chief in there. ODS.
Chief was referenced by Halsey.
But he wasn't in the game. Like, you didn't play as him. You played, and ODST. And ODST is one of my least favorite stories, but it's still it was cool. It was cool. But I mean, I loved Reach though. I thought Reach was amazing. But again, that's the thing to me, is where if Xbox, if 343 is going to take Infinite and make it into like a Destiny-esque type of story arc, then it's the perfect setting to give Chief his whole game, have introductions of what's happened to Locke, Team Osiris, Team Taurus, what's going on with Cortana, what's happening with the Banished, stuff like that. Have that focus with Chief only just being playable, and then gradually, when you do your first expansion, then you go over and have something about the Red Team and what's happening over there with the Spirit of Fire, or you go into seeing what happened with Locke and if Buck went to go meet up with Palmer, or what Palmer was doing to go try to find help to bring Team Taurus, or whatever, like or the team, or maybe they went to go find Team Taurus and then only found out about Locke being injured, captured, or killed. And then maybe Chief might have been trying to go after to save him, because after Halo 5, Chief, Locke and Team Osiris saved Chief and Blue Team for Cortana. So it's just like one of the things, it's like you can have that character be built up like Six said, like they did with old dude. And that to me is a better story, because you can have more. You can have more of a team because the one thing to me overall is what I'm trying to get at is that if you just have Chief just go through the Banish like he does everything else, then you just destroyed the potential of having one of the best villains that you've ever had in the Halo universe. And these villains are so kick-ass, you can have Atriox is like your dark side or your Thanos. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, you have to build up to get to Atriox. And if you got Hell fighting, let's say, Isharam, and then like early in the game, and Chief get his ass kicked by Isharam, and then you got everything else that's involved, Chief can't do it alone. And that would be the perfect story to set up like, oh shit, you know what? He needs help. He needs everybody, all hands on deck. But if you start killing people off, and then everything is just all centered around Chief, and he's just start going through Isharam when you get to him, you kill him like he's on easy mode, and then Atriox, I'm coming for you next. It's going to be a joke in my opinion. So I think that they have a perfect way to build up the universe by adding more characters involved, and also having people having what they want by still playing as Chief in the game. I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. But, I don't know. Anybody got anything to say on that? Yeah, okay. I guess not. So, all right. So let's get to one last topic, and then let's get the hell out of here. All right. So I wanted to get to the Gabe thing, but I can just wait on that. We could just go on, and I want to talk about these attacks on these characters. Not characters, but on these personalities out here lately. I'm starting to see people go after Review Tech because of a video he dropped yesterday. I've seen people drop a video show people's receipts on Xbox and PlayStation because they said they prefer Xbox at the Xbox Series X over the PlayStation 5, and Dustin Lagarity and all these other people they're just going after. And this is just an open discussion. Anybody can just jump in on this. What in the world is going on? It seems to me that PlayStation fans was all fine when all this stuff was being said last gen, when PlayStation was always recommended over Xbox. But why is it that it's now a personal vendetta to go after people because they feel? What's the problem with that? What's going on? Why?
You You just answered your own question.
Okay, well,
They're so used to the narrative always falling in their favor, and now that it's not even the narrative falling on Xbox side. Now it's Microsoft's actually competing, and they have news when they usually didn't.
Right.
I mean, look at it from the aspect. So, Sony fans are used to all the timed exclusives, all the good ones. Sony fans are used to the best exclusives. Sony fans are used to the narrative going on with the media because they always had the best games. And now they're used to everyone gravitating towards to the Sony platform. So now when people say anything, it's like they're the spoiled trust kid. They're like, no, that's not how my whole life's been. Like I spent 9 years in my little safe zone because I believe in this like little console war thing going on. When I see someone not, going against my beliefs, I'm gonna attack. Like,
yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yeah, well, I agree with Addict, but on top of that, I feel like this is a war of receipts, or a war of accountability. Like, we know in many eyes that the press seems to be flip-flopping in their general opinion, but like what Addict was saying about how kind of by default last generation, the news would just work out for Sony, and not for Microsoft. Microsoft is now competing, so different situation now. But within the Twitter space and the community at large, the gaming community at large, it's this war back and forth of accountability and receipts where people are, are proving each other to be liars, but it's all in the sake of more console warring, That's all that really is. It's just another level of foolishness, and it's just another way for them to attack each other. It's another metric that they have for the week. Next week it'll be something else. All this stuff really doesn't matter. But a lot of people have said some things that they shouldn't have said. Review Tech had to pull back and make an apology video over something he said about Ratchet and Clank, some leak or supposedly.
Yeah, but that's
turning out to be.
Yeah, but see, hold on. This is the thing. He wasn't wrong. His source was right. Now, it was an old article, but nobody doesn't even know. Sony hasn't given any. They haven't said.
The person who responded to him was somebody from Insomniac, like verified with the blue check and everything. An Insomniac dude who brought up that this article was
I saw that, but now the cat should be out the bag. The game is going to come out here next month. Why you just can't say if the game is going to be? What's the specs going to be? I mean, is it going to be?
Right, that's the surrounding debate. These games usually actually don't reveal these things too often. We usually actually, I don't want to say usually, but quite often as much know because of Digital Foundry. Like, remember, they're the ones who really brought this into our midst in the first place, where people really care about it, and it's another, element of console warring that, the information they get from that, to attack each other with. So, should they have told? I think more transparency and more information is always good. Well, I wish the developers would have just told us flat out the game is about to release, if that was the status quo, we should have known by now. Like, it would have been late, late information. So no doubt, I agree 100%. But the thing about it is, number one, it's really actually not that way, even though I feel it should be by default. I really do. And this is just another example of poor journalism, and this is what the quote unquote the journalists like to point that as poor YouTubers as to why we shouldn't be covering the news or whatever, because we bring all these unverified people and this and that and blah blah blah, and this is another and they can point to this as a textbook example of what they're talking about. But a mistake was made, and dude owned up to it, and he had said he would if it would, and it came to pass, and he made the video, and he came to his word. But this is Review Tech USA, dude known for. I
get that. I'm not tripping about his video, about him giving a video saying that he made a mistake. What I have a problem with is that his information was not wrong, because there was not any.
If that Insomniac guy refuted it, I don't.
He refuted it, but where's the info showing that the game is is
Right,
not going to be
that's
1080p. I mean, if
that's
it's
fine, that's fine, but
Yeah,
that doesn't mean what dude said is actually true now. The guy refuted it. He's in a position where if he said that, it must be true. But even though they didn't reveal what it was, he blanketly said that was wrong and that was 9-month-old discredited information. So by very definition, it can't be those resolutions. What they actually are, we don't know. I don't know.
Right.
But that's what the actual debate is. What you're saying is something different that I do agree with, but isn't that? That's two separate things.
I mean, I know, I get it.
I know we're nitpicking at it, but
I get it. It. To me, it's like, because when does the game come? It comes out next month, but what date does
Next
it?
month.
I know, but what date?
I think the 9th or something. I'm not really sure. Early in the month, I want to say.
Is it early in the month?
June 9th.
June.
Early
Okay.
in the month, I think.
Okay. So June 9th. So that's like about a.
Oh, it was the 9th. Okay, I thought I heard that.
Okay, so that's about a month away. Almost, a little bit past.
A little less.
About 3 weeks away. And you mean to tell me that you can't already give the, saying that if it's going to be 1440p or if it's going to be, 18?
But they don't always do that. They don't always do that.
Know,
like
man.
That's
a bragging point.
Exactly.
To me, that's a bragging point. If that's something that was already achieved and they knew it, it was a marketing point to show how powerful the PlayStation 5 is. And we know the PlayStation 5 is capable, but I don't know. It goes back to my whole thing of just saying this, and are some of these games going to go to the PlayStation 4 at a later time? That's my question. Because if those stats does not go to, if they're not doing a 4K 60 with the game or 4K 30 with the ray tracing, totally understand, because ray tracing is a resource hog, right? But if they can't do 1440p 60, whatever, and it's 1080p 60, I don't know. I'm like, that's why I have these questions about Returnal. You hear about Godfall going to the PlayStation 4 now after hearing that it was only going to be able to be played on the PlayStation 5. And I'm not tripping about if it goes to PlayStation 4, but I'm just saying that if this is 3 weeks away and this is a bragging point. This has been something that should have been talked about 3 months ago. Like, man, look, this game is going to be the best running game that PlayStation has right now next to Returnal. Hey, here you go. I don't know. Anybody else got anything to say on this?
No, I mean,
it comes down to the fact of that there's just a lot of mixed information.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know.
There's some that are saying it's true. There's some that are saying it's not. I know that we saw with Rich from Review Tech that he had to kind of go back on things, and that he said that he was checking with other sources and stuff like that. There's just a lot of conflicting information. Honestly, with the whole thing with Insomniac and what's going on with Ratchet and Clank, they've said that there's going to be a resolution mode, there's going to be a performance mode, whatever. It's going to come down to it. Either way, it's going to have to come down to wait till the game launches, which is sad, with the fact that we can't get a solid of what's going to be in what mode, but that's kind of where the situation is. But the fact that some of these people are getting attacked for everything, like Addict said, that right now is just kind of the thing to do, because everyone's going to attack, whether it's something negative, something positive, or anything, right? But the fact is, with everyone suddenly saying, hey, you know what, Xbox is doing something right, he's not wrong. That it's the fact of that there's actual news. They're continuously pumping something out, whether it's new features, new updates, new titles for their FPS boost. They're literally focusing on everything that they can while they get ready to start pumping out all their first-party titles. But what have they been doing in that time? They've been focusing and building up the Game Pass news and everything that they get, working with bigger publishers to say, hey, yeah, these big games, we're getting them day drops, day and date. Or, hey, all these games that weren't on our platform before, guess what? They're coming over now, and guess what? You're going to get them right here. That's how big it was when Dragon Quest got announced that it was coming on Xbox. And when it was coming to Xbox, guess what? It was premiering in Game Pass. So the fact is that there's so much good mind share and the kind of moves that they're making, that Xbox shows that now they are really into the competition, quote unquote, for these console zealots, right, is the fact of no, they're showing that they are serious about gaming. They're investing seriously into gaming, and they're proving it. They're not just letting the community or the previous thoughts do the talking. No, they're literally showing out with everything that they got, from their console to their services to what's coming down the pipeline. They have been making all the right moves, and people are going to take notice. That's what's pissing people off, is that people who are known for bashing are actually taking notice, because they're the ones who are in the industry at a first-hand basis and be like, oh, I actually see that they are actually doing things right. I'm going to talk about it. The people who follow them for all the original bashing are saying, hey, why are you changing your thoughts all of a sudden? I agreed with you before. I don't agree with you now. Go back to how it was before. And they're like, why? This is what I honestly think. And they're like, no, that's not how this works. No, it is. And that's the sad point of how things are, is because people have gotten into these echo chambers of wanting other people to just agree with them to make them feel validated in some point. The fact is that people who are serious about the industry and who are serious about gaming will take notice when a company is doing right and when a company is doing wrong. And that's what Xbox has shown. Yes, some of us may be bigger Xbox fans than others, but we've also agreed when they haven't been doing things right. But we said, hey, they're trying to improve on it. Now this is where they backed up all of that, and they're working on improving it all. They've backed it up 115%, and people don't like that. And that's what it is.
That is the truth. D, you was going to say something? Go ahead.
I was, and I just wanted to kind of piggyback off of that thought about, following the narrative. And one thing I've learned in the last recent years, like, I hate to say it, but I'm getting older. I don't have time for foolishness.
Facts.
And one thing I've learned in the last, what year is it, 2021? I'll say 3 years, is that people like to get into a tizzy over foolishness. And then when they're proven wrong, or something is rectified, or they're proved, whatever it is, there's no accountability. There's no self-awareness. It's just why when I just see it on the timeline, I either block or mute or whatever it is, or just keep scrolling, because this whole conversation about resolution and what's the resolution, is it 4K? It reminds me so much of 2018 and when people were talking shit about a puddle in Spider-Man. And then as soon as the game came out, crickets. It wasn't like, oh, hey, y'all, I was wrong. The puddle is fine. And Sony did a great job. No. It was 100% cricket, at least from what I saw. And after that, that was like a huge confirmation to me in the current state of gaming. People like to be miserable, and they like to be ignorant in their misery. And I'm going to let them. Like, y'all go ahead, use your 280 characters, because, like, let the game come out. Like, bruh, it's exhausting. Like, me going back and forth.
Misery loves company.
That's
it does. True. It's just like, I get it. When you're passionate about something, whether it's something negative, something positive, you're going to want to talk about it at length. Everyone 100% get that. But going back and forth with people, it's just like, why are y'all attacking people? Like, just seeing the actions of people who call themselves gamers these days it's just, honestly, I just shake my head at it. So this right here, people getting attacked for, saying positive things about Xbox, saying what they say about Ratchet and Clank. I want to say I'm disappointed, but not surprised. But I'm not even surprised. I'm not even disappointed. It's just is what it is. Now, not all people that like either platform are going to be total douches about everything. There are people that are, we're all here. We're here for the games. We're here to discuss, likes, dislikes, news, and things of that nature. But I'm telling y'all, there are just people who just like to be miserable, like to bash on other people, like to insult other people, like to send people threats about just foolishness. And it's unfortunate that people who, maybe last generation, PS4 appealed to them because of the games that were on there. It makes sense. Like, I told my friend before, like, it doesn't make sense not to have a PS4 last gen, because there were so many different games. Even if you didn't play all of them, something appealed to you. You know, that's not to say that Xbox was just like, you know, don't get it, but that was just my opinion. And people were just like, yeah, I fuck with that. But as soon as I'm like, yo, I'm really glad I got my Xbox for this, it's just why? Why do you say that? I'm like, because it's what I like. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong, and me liking something different from you doesn't invalidate your purchase. I just don't understand it, you know, where that energy is coming from. But that seems to be the status of people these days, and it's really unfortunate to get to the point of insulting and going back and forth with people at length. Like, you see some of these threads that are like,
oh yeah, they'll
hundreds
go
of tweets long.
yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah, I
I
don't
gotta
even.
work.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
I mean, but then you know that's why we gotta ignore it, right? I mean, that's why you gotta block, you gotta mute, you gotta, you know, because you can't have that within our space. You know what I'm saying? Especially, I mean, D, you made a solid point. I mean, we getting older. You know what I'm saying? Even if you younger, I know Callie. You know, I know Callie's probably, you know, probably a little younger than myself. I'm 28. You know what I'm saying? But even for myself, like, I grew up in the internet era. You know what I'm saying? And even myself, like, I don't understand why people spend more time on Twitter than they do actually playing games. Now, that's neither here or there, but if people want attention and they want attention, you just got to realize that it's that. It's just like anything else, you know what I mean? Like, I always bring up this reference, you know, I might like Adidas, you might like Jordan, but they're still shoes. Like,
facts.
We're gonna have these conversations, you know what I'm saying? And even to bring a even pettier example, BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, or Toyota, whatever you into, brother, it's completely
Samsung, Apple, yeah.
Oh, exactly. It's completely dependent on what ecosystem you're already currently in, what your situation might be, what you feel is more value to yourself. Because again, like, that's another thing that I never understand. Like, people get so caught up and bunched up about somebody saying that they don't agree with their opinion. And it's like, brother, it is what it is. Just leave it at that. You don't have to get emotional about it. You don't have to be, you know, take it to a point where it has to get to personal attacks. And like, just to bring it back to what KMEGA was bringing in with the whole Rich thing, it's like, yes, the reason people were saying that he was putting out false info, because it's the false info. If he's saying that it's 1080p and the game comes out and they say it's 1440p at 60, he's lying. They're still lying at the end of the day. So it's one of those things, like, yeah, he's going, you know, you're going based off of whatever information is out there, but at the end of the day, you can only go off of what we have seen so far. Can you tell whether the game is 4K or 1080p when you're looking at the screen? Probably not. And guess what's going to happen when that game drops? You're going to play the game. People are going to play this game. They're not going to know the difference. The only way that they're going to know the difference is if they want a cap for this constant console bickering BS. That's the only time. Other than that, you're going to play what feels good to you, whether it's 4K 60 or not. To me, everything could be 1080 and upscaled to 4K. Why? Because as a PC guy who's been playing, and an Xbox guy, but as someone who's been in the PC environment for so long, I have an understanding that having the ability to up-res is more important than having a game that is already 4K. That's how it is. No, if you up-res it, you have more of a performance headroom, and I'm not by no way, shape, or form the greatest tech guy, whatever the case might be, but I do have an understanding that there's headroom when they do these things. That's why they're doing it. That's why upscaling has become such an important thing, and why everybody's so trying to pay attention to pixels and everything else when nobody's been paying attention to this. Your typical consumer doesn't care about this. The people that we're trying to reach and trying to talk to do not care about it. They're not pixel counting. They're asking themselves, does it look good? Why do you think everybody says Ratchet and Clank looks like a Pixar game? Looks like a Pixar movie. That is a compliment of the umpteenth degree, no matter how you try to split the hairs, brother. It is what it is. There's nothing else out that can compete with that right now, as far as the look is. But that's just giving you an idea, with the consoles only being 6 months out and everything going the way that it's going. It's giving you an idea of where we could be heading, and that's what's exciting. Not so much whether the reason Rich gets his flag. everybody knows why he gets his flack. He hasn't always been the most honest, most truthful, most forthright person within the community. But that's on him. Let him decide whether he's going to put himself in a hole or not. You know what I'm saying?
But it's also just everybody else I was talking about as well. Like, but no, you're totally right.
Yeah, but everybody else, like what? I mean, but when you say everybody else, what do you mean by that? What is everybody else? The people in the comments capping?
No. I said Dustin Legary, and then the other guy that got. That
ties right into what I was saying. People are going to use these things for clicks. These people, like for example, for the Dustin example, and anybody else is making content about this. You need to get clicks. If you want to get traction, you want people to look your way. So you're going to talk about these things. You're going to add your little smoke on it. It'll be the same thing. For example, let's just take King David. King David is all about the smoke, right? Mm-hmm. He could have a podcast all by himself doing nothing but smoke. And could you feel some kind of way about it? No, it's his opinion, right? It's just one of those things. You either agree or you disagree.
No. People will have a problem with it because that's just the way of social media and just how people in general get. Go ahead.
What happened with Ratchet and Clank? I seem to have missed something.
Okay, so
they were saying that Ratchet is supposedly going off of old articles, whatever the case. They were saying that Ratchet could be possibly 1080p or playing at 60 frames and at 4K 30 or whatever the case. That's what it was.
Right.
Someone said someone from Insomniac debunked it.
So somebody in Insomniac came in and they just said, look, that was 9 months ago when that article was made. Right. Because where Rich got his source from was from PlayStation.com or something like that, some your PlayStation site, and they posted it themselves. He talked about it, and then one of the Insomniac people came in and said that was old information, but there was no other information that they gave. But Rich made the and so Rich made the commercial. I mean, not commercial, but made the video saying that look, he made a mistake, blah 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 blah, and that was it.
Not a good look. Usually, if you debunk stuff, they correct it. If they didn't correct it, don't get surprised. This 1080p.
That's my point. That's my point. Like, so all the slander and the hate that came from him, and this because that, and then some.
No doubt, it still might. It still
might. That's the thing. But hold on. But this is also the last point on this is that. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I was seeing a lot of the people that were going after Rich was basically saying that they had articles showing that Yoshida was saying that Review Tech's point was stupid. Now I seen you know how people could doctor stuff up. I don't know if that's true or not, but I was seeing that there was a lot of PlayStation fans that was showing that like he was wrong or whatever, and they were posting that. So I don't know, and if that's the case, then that's just all over the place to me because I mean,
that's just messy.
At that point, it's just messy.
My thing is, if Review Tech is 100% wrong, why did the Insomniac Twitter account legit just came out and say this is 4K 60? Like, why?
Thank you.
Because you know what that makes me feel like? Yeah. That makes me feel like it's the same thing that happened with 343 in that last build, in that what they showed us in July. That's an old build. That's not what the game's going to look like at launch. And then what happened? 3 months later, the game got delayed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. See, that's why that's why I'm saying, like, look, no, Rain, you're totally correct. So, indeed, you are too. And Slayer, all you guys are right. But I'm saying is that, listen, if Insomnia, the game is 3 weeks away. Like, this is a marketing chip right here. This game is playing 4K 60. And it's going to be 1440p, 60 frames or whatever. Like,
I get that.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's a marketing tool to show the power of the box. But if it does come out and it's still 1080p 60 and it's 4K 30, like I'm not tripping about the fact of that the game is that because it is what it is. What I'm tripping off about is that there was nobody showing like, hey, this is what we've been working on. That's all I'm saying on that end. And if everybody's giving Rich all this hate but behind it, off of him giving the source off of PlayStation information that was 9 months ago, even though that was last year, of course. But still, the point of the matter is that you should show something. You should say something about it. I don't know. But anyway,
Beasley came out there and said on some Twitter, there's been speculation that our game is running at 1080p 60. That is false, and give the actual result. Because the only reason you wouldn't give the actual numbers is if you didn't want to give the actual numbers.
Right.
What's the best
Or unless
way
their parent company kept them under contract to keep them silent on a lot of stuff.
Well, that's true too. And Sony is good for that. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what's the best way to debunk a false rumor?
Thank you.
To just come say it.
Thank you. Now, I can understand if the game is coming out at the end of the year, and then if they're still quiet about it because they're still trying to get to their targeted,
This time next month, people are going to be playing Ratchet and Clank.
No, and that's the thing. Like that's the part where but that's the part also what Rain was talking about. And listen, people are still going to play it. Some people don't notice the 4K compared to the 1080p. I notice the difference. I know that other people can, but you can definitely see it. But there's other people out there, and there's some people that just don't give a damn. They just want to play a good quality game, and that's the only thing that's important. I just don't like the fact, and this is one of those things for me that I crack up anytime that somebody says, oh, okay, Mega, you don't game. Why do you hide your achievements or your trophies? Because I want to. I want you to be pissed off and want you to keep saying that I don't play my games while I keep streaming, while I keep doing other shit, while I keep showing clips. I don't care. It's just the fact that I don't want people to come hit me up like I was and then say, oh, why you didn't play this game? Because I ain't got to the goddamn game yet. I'm playing something else. You know what I'm saying? Stop bugging me about something that's for me. Like, I don't even want to hear that. Like, you talk about this game, why you don't have a 100? Because I'm not a completionist. I beat the game, but I ain't here to try to get 1,000, and I don't have to brag about getting 1,000. I never bragged about being a completionist. I'm not Randar Thor. I'm K-fucking-Mega. That's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I got to play different games, play different ways.
I don't deny that.
Yeah, yes. So, but no, I don't have a problem about a completionist. If there's games that I really get so deep into, I'll go in there and I'll dig them out. But like, you can't tell me nothing if I'm sitting here putting in the time on The Witcher, put in there 500 and some hours, and I still don't have 1,000 points. I got everything that I wanted to get out of the game because I enjoyed it. That's what it's about. But again, hey, I get it that some people need to be exposed for whatever, but I think that this attacking thing on people because they have a different opinion than yours,
that's a fact.
That's gross, and that's gross on all levels. I don't care if you're an Xbox person and you mad at the PlayStation people when PlayStation was the media was jumping after jumping on and playing, being on PlayStation's Force bandwagon. That is just what it is, because beforehand they were on the 360 bandwagon, and now it looks like that some of them are jumping on to the Series X bandwagon. Leave these people alone. Either way, let them do what they have to do. If you don't like this stuff, don't listen to their content. All right.
And the crazy part is, like, if this is getting on their nerves,
they're not ready.
They're not ready. Yeah.
It's gonna get worse. Yeah,
it's gonna get worse.
Microsoft's about to be in the news a lot. So
yeah, it's about to get ugly. It's about to get ugly. But anyway, Sir X-Man, Black Lock Matters. Oh no, did you do that? Anyway, he said that's petty, my man. Team Save Lock, absolutely. Yeah, there was. Sir X-Man in the chat. Thank you so much. But yes, Lock Lives Matter, baby. Yes, we need to have Lock. Keep it going, baby. Keep it going. But anyway,
the hashtag KMEGA.
Callie, that's great. I can't wait.
Need it.
Hey, if I'm wrong, like I said, the deals are up, and you know what I'm saying. I will honor my bet. I promise you that. That's for sure. So
just PayPal these men now, man.
I can't do that, man. Hey, I'm gonna have to go and take one from your boys out there from Iron Lords, man. I'm gonna have some people bending the knee here pretty soon. I can't wait. Anyway. All right, guys, man, it was a great show. Thank you for still hanging around. I was trying to avoid to hit the 3-hour mark, but yeah, man, it was a great discussion. So anyway, man, let's get up to Calirex, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man. Where everybody can find you, brother.
you guys can find me on my own channel, Calirex, and I do my own show, Extinction Level Gaming. I'm going to be bringing that back soon. The only thing that's stopping me right now is my huge project I'm working on currently. For those of you that don't know, I am making a huge documentary on Shadow of Mordor, so I am covering the entire developer.
Beautiful games, wonderful games. Golly, God, that's so good. That's so good. Love them both. Oh, the ending in Shadow of War. Oh, I know. I'm just thinking. I'm sorry. Just thinking about it.
Okay. All right.
Ooh, all right. So let's go ahead. D, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at Gingy's mom, and honestly, that's where I am these days. I am on YouTube here and there. You can see my old streams of GTA, and then I'm on Twitch, D Marie B. So that's where I be.
Hey.
Nice. But anyway, did I tell you about Shadow of War this one time? And no, I'm just playing. I just want to.
You sound like a Jehovah's Witness out there.
Addict, man, thank you for coming on.
Door.
Addict, man, thank you for coming on, man. I hope this won't be the last time. Where can everybody find you at, brother?
You can find me on Twitter at Lord Addict IOP. You can find me every Sunday on the Iron Lords podcast channel at 1 p.m. I was about to say the guest, but I think Cosita won't need to do that. So definitely, be looking out tomorrow. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's definitely Eastern. I don't be doing that Western nonsense, but I definitely appreciate the invite.
Did he fade away? Did they finally get him at Sony or Xbox or Nintendo headquarters? Did they get him?
There he goes.
Okay, is he there?
I appreciate the invite.
Oh, okay, yeah, man. Thank you. No doubt. All right, man. Steel Rain. Where can they find you at?
What's going on, people? Again, another wonderful night in the kingdom of the GRG. Look, man, y'all can find me everywhere. I still reign. The T is a 7. And other than that, man, every Friday we here on GRG, 8 p.m. Central. Come get it in where we keep it live, raw, and uncut, and we keep the energy up. And then Saturday mornings, man, come check out your new Saturday morning show. We like your Saturday morning cartoons, man. Living split screen where we're not platform essential. We talk all things gaming, and overall, we just want to give you that energy boost to get you into the weekend. Where we start at 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, and 3 p.m. UK time. Come check us out. Come hang out in the chat. Man, just come chop it up and have a good time, man. Other than that, much love to the guests. Addict, man, it's always great to have a Lord in the house. And then Cali, oh man, another greatness. And other than that, man, much love to everybody for being here. Chat, y'all was on fire. And other than that, y'all have a good night, man.
No doubt. Six Slayer, where can they find you at, brother?
Well, you can find me on Twitter and everywhere great games are played. You can find me right here on GRG, 9 p.m. Eastern time, Lord's time. You can find me.
Stop that with that trash. I'm going to mute you. When somebody says the Lord time with the E related with the East, I'm about to mute you because the only Lord's time is the Central time. Central time.
What are you talking about?
The least coast. East Coast, the least coast. Go ahead.
I'm trying to do my outro and you interrupted me.
You guys are both wrong. It's all about the West Coast.
It's about to fall into the sea, so whatever.
Oh my God.
Anyway. Yeah, you can find me every Saturday on the Dragon's Den podcast, 7 p.m. Eastern. Come check us out. And that's about it. Check out next week.
All right, nice. And Bloody, where can they find you at, brother?
Yo, you already know what it is. They can find me all over on all social media on Twitch, Facebook, and of course they can find me on Twitter, Instagram, all over at Bloody Nuts, KNUX. And they can also find me streaming 4 times a week, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time till 2 a.m. Central Standard Time every day, Tuesday through Friday. And of course, they can find me here every Friday with this lovely cast whenever I'm not busy, so that way I can make my appearance and show some love. But yeah, I was like, other than that, just doing my thing. They can find me all over. I was like, am working on bringing back Smash, so that's in the works right now. Got a lot of things that I'm trying to do, but thanks to the community, we got a lot of things popping off myself. So let's go.
Nice, excellent. All right, and then 108. I've seen that you're still here. Are you still there?
No, he is not.
Okay. All right. Good deal. All right, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hey, if you would go up there to the top and you see the pin, it is the GRG gear, man. If you want to go to support, you know what I'm saying, get some GRG gear, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, in the links in the description, we also have it to where you can listen to us on Spotify, listen to the Dev and the Gamer, and also listen to the GRG podcast. But you also can listen to us off of Podbean, which you can just listen to us pretty much damn near anywhere except for iTunes. I still trying to get that little logo thing right with that, and then we can be on iTunes as well. But other than that, man, thank you guys so much. Yeah, man, they're talking about, hey, you know, if you're vaccinated, you can go ahead and run around and talk to people and socialize. But I ain't doing that yet. Nah, I need to. I'm still keeping that mask on. I don't know what you're doing. I'm
vaccinated. I'm still wearing my mask.
Yeah, I'm still wearing my mask.
I hope people start washing their hands and stuff more often and you know, having some distance.
I still,
that needs to be the new normal.
Yeah, outside would be cool, you know what I'm saying, without the mask, but man, I ain't going in no building without my mask, man. You'll be seeing my Rams my LA Rams stuff on my face. I'll be repping for sure. So anyway, all right, guys, thank you so much for coming through. Be safe. I will see you guys tomorrow night as me and Don will finish up Wolfenstein Youngbloods. We're right there at the end. That boss was kicking our ass for like about an hour and a half, but now I think we got the strategy. We will go ahead and we will do that. We'll see you. I'm about to jump on some Mass Effect. Everybody have a good one. Peace.
Night.
Woo. Oh man. Hold on. It does. It'd be like that.
All your gaming news and our special topic of the week. Make sure to join us every Friday night, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, and 6:30 Pacific. This was the GRG Podcast.